Welcome back to the Comics Aficionados right here on Thinking Critical YouTube. I hope you're having a wonderful Saturday afternoon, geeking out with all your favorite comic books and comic book related shows. We got lots of stuff to talk about, some amazing news coming out of DC Comics. The 90s are back at DC and Marvel. We're going to talk about the Rings of Power because we do have Fatal J in the house. But first off, I do want to introduce the first-time guest. We have Trey Michael, got his own YouTube channel. If you want to see his channel, there is a link in the video description. How you doing, Trey?
Hey everyone, thanks for having me, Wes. I appreciate being invited on the show. You guys know I watch you guys like almost every morning faithfully. So it's pretty cool to be actually invited onto the show. I'm really excited to be here.
So you have a comic book YouTube channel. What can people expect from the Trey Michael show?
Me talking about my opinions from the comic books, whether I like them or dislike them, and just the craziest things that happen in the media of comics and entertainment. Pretty much.
Very nice. So definitely check out Trey Michael. We're gonna have a great conversation here today. Who else we got returning? Fatal J. Welcome to the thumbnail, buddy. Thank you so much for showing up for that bad boy.
Well, Mr. West, I want to thank you because you remind me how much I'm depressed and sad. And when I go to sleep at night, I grab my pillow and cry myself to sleep because I just realized this guy loves humiliating me every time I come to the show. So, Wes, thank you for bringing me back to the show so I can feel bad about myself yet again. Thank you so much for the thumbnail.
I'm just so glad that your one HD photo that I could find on Google was your surprised face. It just fit perfect.
You know how many DMs I've gotten? He's talking about you on that show. I'm sad, man.
All right. You got anything coming on the Fatal J show or anything recently people need to know about?
I just did a review to She-Hulk. After this stream, you guys make sure to go in there and swarm that video and make it go viral and all that good stuff. Because I tortured myself for you guys. I did. I tortured
you didn't torture yourself by reading a Tim Sheridan comic book?
You know what? To be honest, I actually like Tim Sheridan.
No.
Probably do.
Oh God.
I do.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Look, Wes, we're having a conversation after this.
Yeah. Can you be on the Aficionados if you think the Teen Titans Academy is a good comic book? That's
cool. No, that's a bad book. But I noticed stuff written by Tim Sheridan. I have a few of the comics.
He's only written like 16 issues. What do you have besides Flash?
Oh, well, never mind. I might be thinking of another Sheridan.
I'm thinking of somebody else.
Yeah, it got to be another Sheridan. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, his first comic books were in Future State. I think he did the Shazam and the Teen Titans book, I believe.
Oh, okay. This guy is in the 90s. Okay, never mind.
You can't catch a break in DC.
Man, Fatal J was about to soil his reputation right here on television.
It wouldn't be the first time, let's be honest.
No. Wait, we're talking about soiling, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm just glad everybody forgot to call me what they call. I was calling myself Tinkleberry. Was it
Tinkleberry? Yes.
Yeah, Tinkleberry.
Tinkleberry in the house. Hey, well, we got Admiral March here is watching while listening while fishing. Well, I hope you guys have some good bites today.
Oh, we'll try and keep it.
Hey,
we try not to yell too loud.
Yeah, we don't want to scare off the fish.
Yeah, exactly.
That was like the one thing I could do with my grandpa that would get him upset. You don't want to scare off the fish. You got to be a little bit more quiet. So how you been, Yule? You still watching wrestling in the Dodgers?
Dodgers, yeah, but wrestling a lot less. It's just too much to keep up with, and
a lot of problems.
I'm really kind of sick. I don't know. I was making a break anyway, so I'm okay with that. Comic books and baseball right now.
How's Fantastic Comics YouTube going? I know you just had a video about the acetate gate and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, thanks. Yeah, every Tuesday at 8 West Coast, we talk about comics from a store owner's point of view.
Uh-oh, that's
what the heck? Is somebody watching Little House on the Prairie?
We're gonna get.
Sounds like
we're gonna get a copyright claim on that. Can't have a.
It's like fucking circus music.
I love that it was West.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Little House on the Prairie, but it's not needed right now.
The ice cream man was showing up outside Wes's house. That's why he ran off real quick.
Dude, I would have run off also.
I would have ran out too.
Ice cream man.
I would have ran off too. I would have ran out.
So you
Like, I
get
want
that
that
fudge bomb.
SpongeBob.
Yeah, I want the Ninja Turtle.
Was that the ice cream man, Wes? Did you go get
No,
yourself
that was a
Choco
phone
Taco?
call. I didn't silence my phone. I don't know what I was thinking.
Figured
Wait,
you just
wait,
ran
wait,
off
wait,
to go
wait,
get
wait.
yourself a Choco Taco.
That was a phone call.
There's no
What is
more
your
of those.
ringtone? It sounded
It's
like
like a
Disney.
symphony or something. It's whatever defaults.
He said,
If my wife calls,
It
it's the
sounded
Darth
like that,
Vader,
you know, that
Darth
world
Vader
of
theme. But other than that,
imagination. Yeah.
"Oh, so you're gonna put the Darth Vader's music with the wife? Come
Yeah.
on, man."
that way I know it's like impending doom. You know what I mean? That's the way you do it.
You're gonna get in trouble.
All right.
Let him
doesn't
know that
watch
his
this,
wife is
right?
calling and it's important.
lets me know that there's something different about that call. So, Yule, did you have anything else you needed to say before we move on to some of these other folks?
Blah blah blah. YouTube. I did have a first time guest though, the King of the Golden State, and
Yeah.
he's a pretty cool dude. So check it out if
I
you're
watched
interested. You did?
Was he as cool as
It
the
was
pink
good.
the
That's
pink cat lady?
Pink Cat. What about her?
Was he as cool as Pink Cat?
Pink Cat was really fun, but as far as like comic books, you want to like listen. You want to hear what the king has to say.
I'll agree with that. I don't think Pink Cat really appreciated comic books or the history.
No, it was just a moment in time that I wanted to capture.
Absolutely. Got to get on top of those things. We've also got Josh McDonald returning to the channel. We were supposed to talk about some DC news this week, and you ghosted me because you got all this work to do.
Yeah, you know, it's the wonderful world of being in sales management and having stores. And, you know, we've been talking, well, technically we've been talking about doing remodels for 2 years. And then they were supposed to start all the way back in April. Nothing started yet. And then Wednesday I was told, hey, we're going to have a meeting Wednesday. Your remodels will start at least, you know, they're at least 2 weeks out. And I said, okay. And then Thursday morning, I was preparing to record with Wes, and I got a phone call. Hey, your remodels are starting Sunday night. So I was like,
Wow.
Great. So I'm pulling overnights right now, trying to get ready for that. So I'm doing Wes's schedule, except I don't have, you know, the testicles like Wes does. So I'm being a baby about it and being like, I need some sleep,
Let's
y'all.
be honest. You're kind of being a whiny bitch.
I am. I'm not gonna lie.
Here.
I'm not gonna lie. I went from, you know, working like morning Thursday to like trying to figure out the shift, and then I was like, I'm just gonna just stay up, record, and then I'm gonna go pass out. So I am definitely being a whiny bitch. But you can kind of hear I'm a little tired. So, but
I have some stories from my military times, but I'm not going to share them here. I don't want to.
Sometimes me as a whiny bitch is kind of fun. So,
well, as long as you bring the sass, I think we're all going to be happy about it.
I mean, do you want me to snap too?
Absolutely. Last but not least, we do have Doc. Doc and I just talked about the big SOS promo for an upcoming X-Men event. We also talked about the introduction of the new X-Men team in X-Men 13, as well as Death to the Mutants. Those videos will be up tomorrow. How you doing, Doc?
I am here, and I had minor internet issue. That's why I was, you know, fashionably late. Yeah, I was fashionably late. I'm trying to fix a little project that turned into a big project that turned into a disaster yesterday.
What were
in
you
other
cutting
words,
up?
sex.
No, I was. I'm like,
putting in
okay,
his sex swing, and next thing you know, he drilled through a hole. He didn't have any internet anymore, and he's got to remodel the house now. Around the way.
Sex swing. I got you.
So I was putting in. I was just trying to pull some Cat 6 cable down through the same.
That's what we call it.
The same chase that my coax comes up from my basement, and I'm like, why isn't this working? And I got a rod and shoved it up from all the way. Yes, I know. Exactly. All the way from the basement, like the basement ceiling, all the way up through. And then I tied off to it and I pulled down because I wanted to leave a pull string in there. And then but the end of the pole went up too far.
What?
Yeah. It ended
Wes,
up.
Josh,
it ended
you was
up
right.
It ended up
Yeah.
fucking stuck.
This is the dirtiest story I've ever heard in my life. I'm like, I'm
yeah,
in my
this is
mid-40s
like some Canterbury Tale shit.
he lost his pull string up his ass.
Yeah, so needless to say, whoever designed my house, I want to punch them in the fucking teeth because they put an old steel workbox on the facing down inside of a wall for absolutely no reason underneath framing 2x4. And then the little hole in the back of it, they just drilled through that, which is just big enough to get fucking coax through.
Well, Doc,
And
maybe they was using that
This
steel
old house.
to hide the dead body they put inside the wall. You ever thought about that?
If they were doing that, it's too thin of a fucking wall. That'd be one skinny son of a bitch.
It would have stunk by now.
It's not nearly as bad as the guy that designed the paper straw, Doc.
Oh yeah, well that guy needs
needs to
kicked
be
in the
drawed and
dick.
quartered.
No, he
Yes.
just needs some plastic.
Yeah,
Yes.
we just need to give him plastic. But no, so I ended up having to cut the end of the fucking shelf off. And because it's so narrow in there, I can't get any sort of saw in. So I'm sitting there with an oscillating tool trying to just
Oscillating. Nice.
generally get a straight line. And then because it's an old ass house,
Yeah.
1 by 10 is actually 1 inch by 10 inch, not 3/4 inch by 9.5. So I had to go buy a 2 by 12 and plane the fucking thing down. It was just
All right,
giant.
Tim the Two Man Taylor. Can we talk
No
about some
doubt.
comments now?
Speaking of comic books, Yule, did you see this inquiry by Lane Kramer in the chats?
Yeah, I did. I was just about to
Okay.
answer it,
Just wanted to
but
make
I
sure
don't
that
do
you saw it.
omnis as much. I've been picking up a few here and there. So when the Savage Avengers one comes out, I'll have that. But I'm always happy to order. So anybody that comes into Fantastic Comics, if it's available, I'll get it for you.
You said
Very
what?
nice.
You said you haven't
Fantastic
been.
comments.
Hold on. Josh, I don't get omnis too often. I'm sitting on the same question that I've had since it came out. For some reason, my customers have no problem dropping big bucks, but when it's an omnibus, they don't give a shit.
Really? Well, I asked because my
talking
LCS
about
they've been selling more omnis lately. So that
I understand. Well, I've been doing a lot of back issues. So,
that's fair.
there's people that get trades, but they're
Mhm.
probably getting like those long, like Remender type books or Saga or something like that. And then mostly it's new comics and back issues. So
Gotcha.
the big chunkier ones, for some reason, like I said, man, someone's okay with, dropping it just as long as it's like quantity of titles, I guess. And a number of titles. What was that, Jay?
Oh, I just heard you say Fantastic Comments. I'm looking for that recent one. The recent one that
Okay,
came
very
out.
good. Yeah. It was like
Yeah.
133 or something like that.
It got the guy on the cover. That guy, he was supposed to be like the last guy on Earth. You know what I'm talking about? What's the
Why,
color
the last
designed
man?
him?
You talking about
No,
from
the
DC?
Yeah, the guy that
Confusing me.
designed him.
You talking about Jack Kirby's Kamali, the last boy? on
Jack.
Earth?
Yeah.
Oh, Commandy. Yeah.
Commandy, yeah.
Command.
Mighty Warrior, yeah.
Well, it's been
Very
it's
nice.
been
We do
it's
have
been a
some,
long time.
Some super chats. Let's get into these real quick before we hit the first topic. Lade Kramer says, Doc is right now live. Man, Batman is sad and Harley Ivy. Doc
Oh
is
yeah,
right.
that Harley Quinn show.
Welcome to the
I
show.
think
Is
that's
this,
about to be canceled.
No,
Oh,
it's
it
on
need
the
to
third
be.
season, right?
I
It
hope
need to
so.
be. It
You
was
don't
good
like
the
a
first two
Reverend
seasons.
Harley Quinn?
God no.
Nah, the first two seasons were pretty good, but this one here is.
I mean,
I haven't seen the
like-
season.
Nightwing is literally like the emo guy, and he like, I want to die. And he was like, what are you talking about? This is my real voice. I was like, oh, hell no. Nah, I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm
that's the
good.
one I stopped on that one, man. It's pretty bad now.
Cal Lyle says, I don't care about anything anymore. I hate She-Hulk.
Damn.
Is it that bad?
Well, after this
Damn.
stream, make sure to check out the Fatal J show where I talk about the show and I torture
How much you
myself.
loved it.
There was
Right.
some parts I liked about the show, but for the most part,
You think it was torture?
well, she started out stronger than him, like smarter than him, stronger
No,
than him.
she
and-
did. You didn't watch. We'll talk about it later.
Yes, I did, and she
We're
did.
We're
gonna
going to talk about it later.
We're gonna talk about it later.
All right.
Gal
yeah.
Lyle also says, and the worst thing, they asked Fat Slot to promote the stupid show.
Yeah.
That could be the worst thing. I don't think that'll
It's not
stop
that
people.
bad being fat.
No, it is, but it is that bad being Dan Slott.
Well, exactly. See,
Guy wrote
this is something
Spider-Man for
everybody
2
can
years.
take.
It's pretty good, kid.
I would never forget that Marvel episode that they put on Disney Plus. It made me look at Dan Slott so many ways. I was like, what the fuck?
That's
sorry.
been out for a year and a half, and it still pisses me off.
I
The
was like,
thing
are you
is-
kidding me? This is really what happens in Marvel comic books. I mean, I don't know. I thought something would have been more stricter or something like that. But for him to be on Twitter all day like that, like, dang, y'all got a book. Y'all got two books.
There's a reason why Dan Slott, as a writer who isn't terribly good, he's very on his best day he's mediocre. Why he can't do 2 monthly titles. He has never in his career been able to handle 2 monthly titles without delays, and he's just a middling writer that I don't even know if he does full scripts.
All right. We're going a little too far off here. We got a couple
Yes,
more to
we
get
are.
to. Lade Kramer says, okay, hero battle for today. Stephanie Brown spoiler versus Kate Bishop Hawkeye. Who wins the battle, Josh?
I'd probably say Kate Bishop.
Stephanie.
I will say Stephanie Brown.
Stephanie is
her
a trained
Batgirl
killer.
Huh?
She's a trained killer.
Who? Kate Bishop?
Stephanie Brown.
Stephanie Brown's a trained killer.
She is a trained killer. She's a Robin.
Yeah, well, you know.
That second one is
She
a good
didn't-
mashup.
She didn't really get trained as a Robin, though. She just kind of
But-
fell into it for 2 days and then got it taken away, and then she died.
All right, Doc, you're the Marvel guy. Is he correct? Is it Kate Bishop or is it Stephanie Brown?
I gotta go with Stephanie Brown because she's almost on par, not quite, with Tim Drake, who is that kind of destined to be the best Batman.
All right, this one's for you, Fatal J. Who you got, Talia al Ghul or Elektra? Electric
That's
nachos.
so easy. That's too easy, man. It's Elektra all the way.
I just saw Talia al Ghul like destroy Deathstroke, grab a sword that he was wielding at her, stop it, and then stab him in the stomach. She's invulnerable
just
to
a-
swords.
As just a Elseworld Talia.
No, that was in continuity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you this. She's trained by Ra's al Ghul, right? She's trained by him.
By the League of Shadows.
Because most of the time I see her, she's just prancing around being manipulated. I've never really seen her.
We have a
get down.
Batman expert. Is she a prancer and a manipulator, or is she a fighter?
She's a fighter. She overthrew her dad.
Well,
Now,
she ain't better than Elektra though.
That would actually be a really good fight. I
Nah.
would pay to read that if a competent writer did.
Elektra has done some amazing things.
Wes mentioned the whole Deathstroke thing and mentioning continuity, and I'm like, man, my eye twitched a little bit because I'm like, I just pretend like everything current's not in continuity.
Understandable. But I would have to go with Tanya though, because like if you think about it, she's almost practically halfway immortal anyway. The girl learned so much from her father, and
Elektra is immortal too, though.
Plus,
No,
Electric
Elektra-
Nachos wouldn't be able to seduce Talia. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
like-
That's one of her weapons.
And
Also,
Tanya would know her, would know that Elektra would be trying to sneak up on her. Like she'll probably have a drink ready. She'll be like, "Hello, Elektra." Like, bitch, how did you? Oh, sorry. How did you know?
How many times has Elektra died now as well?
Yeah.
Well,
And
Talia's
you saw
probably
her
died a
immortal
lot,
too.
too. Got the-
Elektra
She's trying
immortal
to change
too.
her ways. She's trying to change her ways too of not killing.
I put like this. That would be a real close one. That could be anybody's game with Elektra
I'm
and
telling
Talia.
you, she would try to sneak up on Tanya, and Tanya will have a glass of wine waiting for her. Like, hello.
Talia just snuck up on Batman. You can't do that to her.
You can't, like, Elektra could never get close to Tanya. She'd be like, if she had a side up to Tanya's neck, all of the League of Assassins will be behind Elektra, like, checkmate. She was like, I practically let you come and find me, Elektra. You didn't think I knew you were coming for me?
Me thinks 995 says there's no way Talia can beat Deathstroke. Who wrote that? Joshua Williamson, who's writing the big Dark Crisis, wrote that in the Shadow War, I think.
Yeah.
So that was actually pretty recent. Dylan Lindsay says, "Greetings, everyone. Hope you all have been well." I've been doing
I hope
pretty
so
good. How about
too.
you,
And
Faye?
that's a cute little rodent in your avatar or whatever that is. What is that? A squirrel? A
It's not a
possum?
squirrel.
It looks
Like,
What kind of animal is that though? Is that a?
It might just be a dog.
it's not a
I don't
dog.
know.
That's
It
a,
doesn't
that's
look
a
like a
dog.
Knows. It's not a dog.
No, it's
That,
not a
with
dog.
that nose.
Oh,
now.
that's a badger. It's a badger.
badger.
Oh,
A
badger.
baby badger.
Wait,
I
that
believe that.
seems like a very violent animal, right?
that would be the
Yeah.
perfect pet.
Well, yeah,
Badgers
for
are
you.
notorious for being a-holes, even more
Yeah.
notorious than Wolverines.
Yeah, it's badgers are the most ill-tempered animal on the planet. A Wolverine is just a bag of razor blades wrapped in fur.
Bam.
Absolutely.
Y'all remember
Phantom
that
of
cartoon
the
called
Night.
Ricky Tikki Taffy?
Oh
Ricky
yeah,
That
Killed
was
that
a
snake.
classic.
killed that snake.
Wes never
Favorite-
seen Ricky Tikki
God
Taffy.
damn it.
That's why he
Favorite
tried.
Jay,
Hey,
I knew it was
hey,
put
coming.
him up to me.
he said it's a sugar glider.
Wes,
Yeah.
just ask me this: have you ever seen Ricky Tikki Taffy?
No, Phantom of the Night says it's just started this week, but the new Red Hood Outlaw series on Webtoon has been pretty good thus far. Don't sleep on it. Well, it's probably free. Webtoon's actually pretty dope. They got a lot of cool stuff there.
I love.
I saw
Webtoon.
someone else promoting that too, so I might have to check that out.
Was it Dan Slott?
No, God no.
I'm gonna check it
I
out.
follow Dan Slott.
I
It's
read
a free
it.
Red
and
Hood Outlaw. There's no comic book out right now, so you might as well check it out if you like Jason Todd.
I
I
read
think
it.
the
and
closest thing we
said,
have is that.
Yeah,
Future State
the
Gotham, right?
Outlaw. Wasn't it? Wasn't
Yeah,
it Red Hood
but-
Outlaw the book? Is that the one we have for
Red Hood and the Outlaws, but they broke up.
Yeah,
And then
and
it
that was-
became Red Hood Outlaw.
that's isn't that
Oh.
the book that they have now for us to read if we want to read Jason Todd solo?
No, that got canceled about 2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
I
never
read
mind. I'm sorry.
I read a real good Wolverine webtoons. Marvel and DC step it up a little bit when they do those webtoons. I enjoy them doing.
Well, I
it.
mean, it's free, so
And it's also not Marvel and DC.
Probably
writers.
Marvel and DC making it.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
it-
that makes sense.
They're like hiring people to do it.
I did tell some people. I said, yeah, the series fine, and I said I hope towards the end, like DC did to us, I hope they ruin it. I hope Jason Todd and the group gets split up for some stupid unnecessary reason, so everybody can understand the pain of us when we was reading the DC Rebirth run, and they said, hey, let's just destroy all of this goodwill for the characters. That way
Well,
the web
speaking
audience
of-
can feel our pain.
The audience paying reading comic books. Calvin
Yes.
says, I now know what Tom King wants to do to his dad and family when he was writing Riddler.
Right.
The thing is, it was pretty rough. It wasn't very fun. You didn't make through, right, Trey Michael? Or did you make it through?
No. I still got like a few more pages on it, but I was like, bump it. I'm like, I don't care anymore.
It was a rough read.
It was definitely rough. I read it. I tried doing it 3 times, and it just felt so boring. I don't know. I guess I was expecting a little bit more action, but it was just kind of like, oh, here's how I've been abused by my father, and I'm not as intelligent as I thought I was. And the Riddlers that I've been doing have been really holding me back. And I'm like, this the same guy who did the War on Riddles and Jokes and 0 Year. Are you kidding me, Riddler? Really? Okay, fine, whatever.
I know
Whatever. Hey,
Yule's going to give us some feedback on that one. I imagine he liked that comic book.
I didn't read that comic book. Give me a break. It's Tom King, right?
Yeah.
It's a
Eric
rule.
O'Sullivan says, is there a comic book death wiki or counter page? And would the X-Men no longer count, Doc? Happy Saturday all.
No, they don't count because nothing fucking matters.
Wait, what if? Well, I mean, sure, but what
They
if they
don't-
didn't bring anybody back? There has to be
Well,
some people.
sure. If they would, I don't know if they go more than one page dead. At that
What?
point, that is the bar right now. One page. They can't even go a page dead.
Who have
Riddler-
who have they forgotten to bring back? Is Mimic? Is he around? I can't remember.
Mimics around. The only one that they're
Mimic.
doing
It
right
took
now.
time to get Mimic back.
The only thing that they're doing with the only person that there's any sort of delay on bringing back, as far as I'm aware right now, is Kid Omega in X-Force for whatever reason after he killed the rip-off of
Cerebrex.
Joe. Yeah, the rip-off of Joe Kelly's story. All of his backups are vanished and he never like he doesn't exist. So, but all they're going to do is just bring him back in a different form. That's it. I mean,
they literally brought back every character. Then,
Yeah,
because,
There has to be
what's
some
the
way
one that I thought they weren't going to bring back, but they brought him back recently? What's the guy name? The Indian one.
Thunderbird.
Yeah, Thunderbird.
Yeah, Thunderbird. I thought they were never going to bring him back, and then they brought him back, and I said, "Well, that's everyone."
Well, yeah,
That's
It doesn't
everyone
make
that's
sense
out
on
there.
Thunderbird. But
they did look. They took the trial of Magneto to make the one restriction of Cerebro and the resurrection protocols and throw that out the window. So, they're already going to within a year they'll figure out how to get resurrected if you die in Otherworld, and you'll be normal. And
okay.
so yeah, at this point, death means absolutely. This is the exact thing that I warned about right at the end of House of X and Powers of X. There's going to be no stakes because
Dill Lindsay says, Wes, it's modern DC Comics. Elektra can seduce Elektra, let alone Stephanie Brown.
Talia.
Well, Elektra. That's what it was.
I hope Elektra's not seducing
Stephanie's probably
Stephanie.
looking
Wow.
for a rebound anyway.
I think
mean,
she's still like 17. That's why.
Nobody fucking knows because
I'm not
they were
sure.
going to college and now they're not going to college and then
Yeah, now they're like back in high school or something. I'm like,
just
what is this?
he
What
on it.
happened?
Like,
How did you
Jesus.
de-age?
But yeah, it's modern DC and Marvel. They'll make anybody seduce anybody. Kenneth Dowling says,
That's
"Good
true.
morning, fellas. Joining the party late. Hope everyone is doing well. Shout out
What
to
up,
Lane Kramer. I'll play too. I got Steph Brown and Elektra for the wins. They are the best fighters."
And I like the Elektra movie. Boom.
Oh, fuck
You
me.
just like Jennifer Garner.
Maybe compared to the
okay,
Hand,
I like
wide
Elektra.
shouldered
Elektra's a
women.
good fighter.
Day.
There was a director's cut version of that was actually watchable.
You're talking about the
No.
Daredevil movie.
No, there was
Not
a director's cut
Yeah,
of
that's a different-
Elektra as well.
It is. Yeah, he's right. I watched it
Because
because
fine as it is.
I mean Jennifer Gardner was fine as hell in Elektra. So sue me.
Not
Yeah.
only that, but it's just a guilty pleasure of mine. I love that movie. I could watch it over and over again. It's
I just
good.
wish she wasn't. I wish she wasn't a side character in her own movie. I was like, did they really just bring Jennifer Gardner in just for her to be a side character in her own?
Oh
movie
yeah,
about
because the
this
little girl was the
I was
chosen.
like, man, get her out of here. Get her
Yeah.
out of here. Bump this.
My
We
goodness.
should have realized. We should have realized as soon as they did that was going to be the future of a lot of movies.
In
for the
fairness,
characters.
the Terminator is not the central character of the Terminator movies. So
That's true.
Yeah.
yeah.
But I mean, at least
Okay.
with a superhero called Elektra.
But you know
Hey,
that
hold on, fellas. We're getting out of line. We're 30 minutes in. We haven't got to a topic. Kenneth Dowling also says, I've seen Ricky Tikki Tavi, and he liked the cartoon Fatal J.
See, that's still
He's
on
your
top.
spirit animal.
I love Ricky Tikki Taffy. Look, you never seen Ricky Tikki Taffy?
No.
That was a mongoose who loved his family so much he destroyed cobras for the family because the cobras wanted to kill the family.
I watched Coco
Mongooses
Melon, man.
kill cobras. That's what they do.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what they've
that's-
always done.
But
Back
I didn't know that when
laboratories.
I was a child. I was like, it's rodents out here that can kill snakes like this. This is
Yes.
impressive.
Dude, Wes is living that every day of his life. You know, he doesn't need to watch the movie.
I watch Coco Melon and stuff like that because I have so many little kids. That's what my life is.
But your
That's
kids
all
will love Ricky Tikki Taffy. It's actually a kid.
It sounds like it would scare them, man. There's mongoose.
No,
and
it
Coco
won't.
stuff.
It's like the
It's like really
Hanna-Barbera
shitty
style.
70s animation. It's got a little song to
Hanna-Barbera,
go along
man.
with it. Yeah, no.
You
It's
can't
worse than-
disrespect Hanna-Barbera.
I don't
That's
think
like
it's Hanna-Barbera, is it?
That's our childhood right there, man.
Well, yeah, but you know how Hanna-Barbera is. You like the bad with the good, you know. You accept it.
Roddy Boy Comic says, hello, Wes and the aficionados. Been busy for the past 2 weeks. Well, we missed you, sir. I definitely noticed you weren't here. Glad that I'm watching you guys live. Good times. By the way, DC November solicit seem exciting. Absolutely. We do have some exciting stuff to talk about when it comes to DC Comics. And I will have my full solicitation videos out on Monday and Tuesday for DC and Marvel. And those are going to be fantastic. Per Erskines says, it feels like the modern day writer stands on the shoulders of giants, and most of them have decided to take a huge dump over what came before him. Doesn't it feel like that, Yule? Like Tom King is just taking a big dump on whoever's characters he's writing with, just sitting on their shoulders, right on their head.
Yeah. I mean, I think every, let's just say like decade or new generation of crop of writers that come in kind of like do that. I mean, it was a time when it was Grant Morrison coming in and changing a character, and before him it was other people, but it got really heavy in like the 2000s where anybody was coming in, and even Brubaker had to kill off Nomad, and who cares is the first part, and then who cares is the next part, and everybody does it. Oh, look how edgy a writer I am. This character that I'm going to show you that I know this book by bringing up some character that nobody else remembers, and I'm going to do something really shocking to them to really give the character of the book or the team of the book impetus to do what they're going to do going forward, or not even really. It's just one of those things, and one of many senseless killings or whatever as it may be. That's comic books.
Dr. Hito 419 says, "Good morning, everyone." Well, good morning to you. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. And thank you to everybody for supporting the channel. If you're not here live and you want to support the channel, there is a link to a coffee page that you could support the channel there, or you could buy one of my Thinking Critical YouTube cheat shirts on Redbubble. There's a link there as well. So definitely appreciate all of that. Kenneth Alex says, correction, Stephanie Brown and Electric Nachos are the best fighters in that match. Not the best all around. And Jennifer Garner is still fine.
There you go.
What do you think, Josh? Is she fine?
Yeah, I think Jennifer Garner looks fine.
She was fine in Peppermint.
If I were straight, I'd go for her. I like Jennifer Garner.
Wide shoulders, kind of got that big jaw on her. It's an interesting look. It's exotic. You know what I mean?
Sure. Exotic.
She was good
for a white person.
Ben Affleck left her for J-Lo, though.
What was the best Bennifer, Fatal J? Was it Jennifer Garner or Jennifer Lopez? Which one is the best Bennifer?
That's a horrible, man. That's a horrible. I can't. That's.
What do you feel bad for Ben Affleck?
No, he's not losing.
He's lucky on both sides. It doesn't.
Yeah, pretty good. Tough choice.
He still has to answer he still has to answer questions for his brother, so he's got it hard a little bit.
What happened to Matt Damon though? He don't get the same, style and pizzazz as Ben Affleck. I thought they they was like Batman and Robin. But Matt Damon, like his career is going.
You know how you're
he was the number one action star in the world for 10 years, so I think he did all right.
He said that he wants to focus more on his wife and kids, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, he's doing all those Born Identities movies. He made all his money there. Dylan Lindsay finally says, Talia, my bad. I was distracted by my avatar, a badger. Made my morning.
Okay, I'm glad to see that was a badger. You have a badger.
It's not a badger.
It's a sugar glider.
Yeah, he said it in comments.
He said it in the chat. It's a sugar
He's making
glider.
fun of us.
What the freak is a sugar glider?
Oh, Fatal J.
Go look at it. I got it
Google.
Up.
Fatal J is like a Snoop Dogg watching Discovery Channel. If you've never seen those clips, you got to go watch them. They're fucking hilarious.
But have you
Thank
seen
you very
it
much.
Weed?
Cal Weil says, can we move on before Jay goes on another damn rant? You got a point. You got
Someone
a point
wants
there,
to talk
Cal Weil.
JSA bad.
First up, Mike Ivor says, just wanted to say thanks for your Sunday recommendation show. In recent years, I haven't known what to pick up that didn't have an agenda to sell me, and I can't afford crowdfunded books, so thanks. Well, thank you very much. I'm glad you enjoy those. Really enjoy putting those together with Drew from Comics Elite and also Gabe from Comical Opinions. You like the Guinness? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, I'm like that old man on the commercials. I normally don't drink, but when I do, I drink
Guinness. Huh? Very nice. So really enjoy putting those together. This week is going to be a shorter video because it was just a down week just as far as quality across the board, but that will be up tomorrow. We've already recorded it with Drew, and that was a lot of fun because he and the guys from Comics Elite are at the Colts game today, so they weren't available to record afterwards. And thank you very much for supporting the channel, sir. Let's get into this first topic before Jay gets sidetracked again. DC Comics have finally delivered on some amazing news. They've been basically promising these two things for several years, Josh. 8 years ago, they announced the Mark Silvestri Batman series. It was supposed to be an ongoing. This is going to be a limited series. Batman, Joker, Deadly Duo. I think it's going to be 7 issues. Also, 6 years ago, I think they promised the Jeff Johns JSA series. And we've been waiting for that as well. And they're finally going to get that one, an ongoing JSA from Jeff Johns, but also a limited series of Stargirl and a one-shot about the Golden Age.
Yeah,
Amazing stuff.
I think we may have flipped the dates. I know when Rebirth launched, they announced they were doing the JSA stuff, and that Johns would be tied to it. Yeah, so that was 2016, I think. And I know that they mentioned they were doing stuff with Mark Silvestri years ago, but didn't announce what it was. And then at 2018 Comic-Con, 2018 Comic-Con, they did the full press reveal, like, here's the book, blah, 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 blah. And the reason I remember that is because he got up there talking about Batman and Joker teaming up with one another. And then he talked about how it's never been done before as he sat on stage with Jim Lee and Azzarello, who just finished Batman Europa, like the last issue came out less than a month prior, which featured Batman and Joker teaming up. So that was a fun little incident.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the Silvestri book. I at the time it seemed like people were interested. It looks like it's going to be quality. Depending, will it be good? That's debatable. But it looks like you've got some quality writing and some quality art coming into it. I'm excited. Jeff Johns, I think, is a reliable storyteller. You know, he definitely misses from time to time. But I will take Jeff Johns over pretty much anything we're getting right now. So I'm excited to see it. And hey, he's adding Huntress to his JSA team. So most likely Helena Wayne, I'll take it. I don't mind Helena Wayne. I'm there. I'm down. Let's have it.
All right. So the Silvestri book. Let me ask you a question. Who's writing it?
I feel like he was the writer.
I believe he's writing it.
Joy.
Yeah.
Oh, Silvestri is he's writing.
He's writing it. He's writing it.
I don't too much
does
care,
Mark
man.
Silvestri excite anybody?
Yeah,
read a
me.
Batman book.
Yeah,
Read a Batman book.
Sign me up, man. When it comes to all the image artists, I know everybody will say a Jim Lee. They'll say
there's a lot of people
Todd
ranking
McFarlane.
these guys right now. Yeah,
but I believe, to me, Silvestri is really the best artist out their whole crew. So I'm really excited to see what he's going to do to this book. I'm going to be extra excited if he delivers on this book, because
it's already done.
I mean, the
book's
done.
Yeah,
the book's done.
Yeah, that's why it took 25 years.
It's been done. It's just now that they're going to release it. But like Josh was saying, it kind of feels like kind of too late because we got Batman Europa. Like if they released it after Europa was finished, then it probably could have gotten a little bit more hype. But now it's kind of like people are going to be like, well, we already got Europa. You know what I'm saying?
But that's not real.
I don't
That's
think
Josh being knowing stuff.
I don't think that really matters. I don't care. I think the big problem is that it's been 4 years since the actual announcement, and now they're finally soliciting it. I'm sorry. They should have waited until it was closer to done.
Oh, agreed.
Yeah, that's true.
And then hyped it up, because look, we just finished SDCC. They're coming up on doing. I think they're doing another fandom. Announce it
DC,
then.
It's coming. DC fandom is coming. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but they could have announced it last year at fandom. They could have announced it last year at SDCC at home. They could have actually had somebody at SDCC this year and announced it then. But you announced it 4 years ago, and then you gave zero progress updates for 4 years, and now you're launching it and you just hope it succeeds.
But we've had that 2-year break where you don't have to. You can,
and look at Saga
by
tonight.
Not doing stuff.
But you do, like, I mean, you look at like Saga, had all the hype in the world. It's a fucking dead book now. Nobody buys it.
I wouldn't say it's dead. It's just not as high as
it's dead.
Gonna take time. It's not dead.
It's not going to recover. Nothing ever recovers.
This book
from a long hiatus.
Nothing recovers ever.
This book is going to do great. People's going to grab it. I'm definitely hyped up for it. I'm a huge Mark Silvestri fan, man. He always delivered with the art, man.
If it was all right, so let me try and steer this in a different direction, Jay. It's going to come out in issue form first. We are going to get a Fantastic Four by Alex Ross soon coming up, and it's a $25 book. Shouldn't they have just done something like that? Just put it all out in one $25 increment, wouldn't you rather since it's already done, wouldn't you rather just read it all at the same time?
Yeah. I think that's better. I think that's a
Do you
better
think
idea.
they don't have like? I mean, now my question to you is this: if they're not doing that, why do they do it the way they do it?
Well,
So
they tend.
milk.
Yeah, they
Milk.
tend to.
Yeah.
I asked them about this before. I'm like people at DCU why they don't just release certain things as a trade or graphic novel just up front, and they were saying that they ultimately get more money out of selling issues first and then doing the trades.
You milk it. That's basically what it is.
Yeah, but we're talking about like I don't know. I mean, like you guys said, it's been 5 years or 4 years since they've announced this.
Yeah,
let's get it out. I don't need you to. You're squeezing everything all the time, and it's always Batman too.
Well, some people don't buy trade paperbacks though.
Sure. But everybody kind of feels like comics is kind of gearing towards that a bit. Going. I mean, I feel like it is.
That's fine. It'll die. It'll kill itself. That's fine.
Because you gotta think. You gotta think like this.
Some floppies and a lot more OGNs with those.
You gotta think like this. My mom, she's from the hood. So when I used to walk in the comic book store and I wanted to trade paperback, she was like, "That book is too expensive." Now it was nothing for her to get me an issue 1, issue 2. You know what I mean? Because the price was reasonable.
Yeah, but these days you can get a trade for like $3 to $4 more than you get a single issue. So
yeah,
I think about that.
Wait,
I'm going to be honest.
It's going to probably be $5.99, right? $6
probably
book?
more. I mean,
whoa.
And probably
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, because the Tom King book they just released was like $6.99, $7.99.
I believe they already announced that it's every issue's $4.99.
Okay, there we go.
Of the Batman book, but they're 32 pages. So you get 32 pages, $4.99. So it's really not bad. The problem is, look, basic customer psychology is you can't have too much of a delay between the hype and the release. Otherwise, people move on. It's the reason why trades as a release format don't work, because you break people of a habit. I
don't know, man. The Last Ronin kind of just blows a bunch of holes in that theory.
No, he's saying the hype and the first issue.
Yes, the hype to the first issue.
Not the delay between the 4th and 5th issue, right, Doc?
Yes.
And then the trade paperback came out and landed in the top 5 graphic novels sold.
But
yeah, because a lot of that was because there did end up being delays during, and people just said, you know what, I'm going to wait for the trade. But my point is, I'm talking about from the announcement of a project. If I were to announce a movie today and then not release it for 4 years, guess what? Any amount of hype that I built out of my announcement and all the stuff that I did now, it's dead. It's dead by the time it comes out.
This is a double.
It's marketing 101 shit.
Real quick though, this is a double-edged sword, because you definitely right, Doc. But at the same time, you got to look at it as Silvestri is a top-tier artist, so you're gonna have some hype behind him drawing a Batman book, and people are going to buy
the comics these days that like Silvestri.
Yeah, that's a thing too. You might get some people to dip back in, but I don't know.
It's how DC will get my money.
I'm willing to put money down to say that had Dan DiDio stayed with DC, this book would have already been released, gone through its run, collected, and out. Like, we would have already been through everything.
So we're not excited for Batman Joker.
I am.
No,
I'm super hyped.
We're dumping on it anyway.
I love it. I want it. I want it to be successful. I'm absolutely going to buy it. What I'm telling you is that it's not going to be successful as it would have been had they waited to make the announcement.
I don't know. There's so many not good DC comics that are coming out these days. It probably stands out as being something.
Absolutely.
You're missing my point. I'm not saying it won't be successful. I'm saying it's going to be disappointment for DC because any of the hype is already gone. Now, it might still do well. It's just not going to do as well as it would have.
I think it's not going to do well. I'm going along with you, Doc. It's going to do shit.
It's gonna do crap. It's gonna sell like I Am
Nobody
Batman.
cares. Anybody that reads comics isn't reading it for Mark Silvestri or any of his ilk these days. And
because
it's
we all
just another
stopped.
Batman book. And if he's writing it, that ain't any great shakes either. So,
And I think probably the
There you
whole
go.
thing with the Joker stuff too, because I mean, how many Batman stories recently have we had with Joker, sort of, and then we got a Joker solo comic book coming out too, so that
You
might
got a
turn
point.
some people off about the
Yeah.
whole Batman Joker thing. Like we had two
Yeah.
events with Joker in there, then we had a Joker solo comic book, and then look, here come a Batman Joker team up book.
you can't ever have
Wow.
enough Joker, man.
Man,
But
I'm
look,
the
you-
only one
you-
that's the voice of reason that this is exciting. I'm shocked.
No, I'm not gonna let you do my
But it is
man
a Black
Sylvester.
Label book, so it might do
Sylvester like
do
that.
good.
You aren't, huh? You mean, I heard somebody in the story called him Silvestri Same Face. That's what he is.
Sylvester gave us
You
which
was wrong.
blade?
Hashtag.
He gave us
Well, I
darkness.
only sell the books. I can see the difference between Batman and Detective and Urban Adventures or Urban whatever renewal.
Legends.
I don't know what it's
Legends.
called. I can see the difference between Curse of the White Knight and White Knight, and now Who Cares White Knight, and then another mini series within the White Knight, and I'm sure there'll be a one
Batman
shot
the
within
Fortress
that
is
White
not
Knight.
selling well.
Batman the
Yeah.
Fortress,
Yeah.
Batman Beyond Neo, whatever. No, you can't keep
Batman out
bringing
there.
Silvestri. Give me a writer and I'll pay attention. And again,
Yeah.
there ain't no writers that are going to be putting a book together these days that I care about.
Well, they did a Neil Adams
Neil
Ra's al
Adams ain't
Ghul
making
thing,
anything anymore.
Oh,
and
God.
it didn't do very well.
That's because
Exactly.
it
I'm
was
just-
awful.
Well, that
I
might
mean,
be
look,
true, but
people
just
like
can't keep doing it.
Yeah,
Can't.
people like Neil Adams because he's a legendary artist. But when Neil Adams is writing, people know it's going to be like fucking insane
Dead Man was
bullshit,
insane.
incomprehensible. Like,
Let me answer
nonsense.
JK really quick. It's the difference between Robin selling its numbers and then putting out a mini series called Robins. Robins isn't going to do as well as
Robins
Robin,
did not do
and
very
Robin
well.
only does a quarter of maybe what the main Batman title does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you hope a lot more or a lot less.
Hey,
however
we do
you-
have that Batman versus Robin miniseries kind of coming out at the same time from Mark Waid. It's spitting out a
With the
Batman
Tim Drake
Superman World's
Robin book
Finest.
that's supposed to come out soon. I'm like, so
Yeah, I don't think Tim Drake Robin's going to sell very
Oh
well.
no, I know it's not gonna
No.
sell, but I'm just saying it's kind of like strange. It's like you got three Robin things going on at once, and I'm like, so pick a lane. Which Robin you want to be Robin at this point?
Well, look,
That's
I'm a big
another thing.
Sylvester. I'm a big Sylvester fan, and I'm gonna put it like this: I know why it took so long because when it comes to the Image guys,
Jesus,
it takes years for them to complete a run. So
For-
that's why this book took so long.
Mark was absolutely the fastest of all those guys, and
when he
when he
worked
was
at
still-
Marvel.
when he was still at Marvel,
When he
could-
worked at Marvel, yeah.
he could do. Well, no, none
2
of the other
months,
guys
man.
there. None of the other guys there could do 16 issues a year. He could. Most of them couldn't even do 8.
I assume that this book is done
Larson.
and in the can
Yeah,
and waiting to be
complete.
printed.
it is. Well, and look, we have to. Let me just explain my Dan DiDio comment from earlier because we're already finding out that there were so many things that he greenlit that then never got started or got started and then just stopped when he left. That they're going back to him now and saying like, "Oh, hey,
Let's do that one."
we're gonna do this now." Probably because they're freaking bankrupt on ideas and realize that they don't have any talented people on their staff.
that's true.
Well, we
this
do
won't
need to
be
give a
worse than-
big hold up, Fatal J. We need to give a big old shout out to Eric Canetti with the enormous $50 super chat. Thank you so much for
Hey.
supporting the channel, sir.
Yeah, boy.
Eric Canetti, comic book artist, formerly of Wildstorm. Obviously, he does his own comics for
Athena.
iconic comics, Arc Athena. Hello, Wes. Hello, Jets. I hope you're all having a good day, good start to the weekend. We are. Thank you very much. And I had a fantastic conversation with Mark Miller, and he was definitely singing your praises. I hope you got to see that because he was a very big fan. Obviously, Eric Canetti also works with Miller World as well. And that was a great conversation. And Eric Canetti, one of the nicest guys in comic books, and just a fantastic fellow. And we hope that you are having a great start to your weekend as well, sir.
Yeah, boy.
What do you got to say, Fatal J? You got a
Oh, I
question?
just wanted to say this won't be worse than Batman All-Star Batman.
Well,
Do you agree?
All-Star
Nothing's
Batman
gonna
and
be
Robin.
worse than-
Yeah.
All-Star
They're gonna be-
Crazy Steve was fucking great. So shut your whore mouth.
No, it was not.
Yes, it
No,
was. Shut your whore mouth.
You
There's
just
a
like
lot
the
of
pretty
people-
pictures.
We kind of like haven't talked about the JSA Jeff Johns stuff.
I'm more excited about that one. That's why I
Yeah.
let it when I did my video.
So-
I want the JSA when they bring it back, just pick up from where Jeff Johns left off in the 2006 run. Don't even focus on nothing that happened. Just pick it up like as if 2006 had not ended, and just go
The
from there.
problem
That means
is,
none of that weird stuff with
in
Alan
the
Scott, none of that weird,
solicitations,
none of that.
They specifically mentioned Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths and
I
this
know.
kind of coming out of there.
I know. I'm just like, just pretend. Just shh. Who cares?
He will. He'll just be like, all right, that's done. Now I'll
Yeah.
do this.
I feel like Jeff Johns is talking about an issue one, and then that's it.
Or they're gonna be like, hey, remember that pretty fucking awesome 2006 series that I had? Well, now because of Dark Crisis, we're bringing it back. You know,
And I can reference
Or-
everything. I can reference everything from it.
I just want to know whether or not I feel like DC Comics right now is using inventory story arcs. Like they had a bunch of inventory story. They're going into the drawer to pull out all the stuff that they didn't publish.
And I'll take it.
Oh, yeah.
The artist
I'm fine.
changes all the time because like he was supposed to have Brian Hitch on it before,
Yeah.
and now it's Segovia. So maybe
Yeah.
the script. Maybe you're right. Maybe the script
Segovia
is
looked
lying
great.
around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Segovia is great. So,
But if you
I'm
don't
fine
have
with
like
it.
Jeff Johns hanging around doing stuff, I don't know if you want to dig up his like old stuff, and put it out there.
unless he
he's
is
working on
back.
Flashpoint Beyond right now.
Right.
Josh, what do you think
Yeah.
are the chances are that Jeff Johns is going to be more active with DC Comics? He hasn't done an ongoing in years upon years. He's finally doing one. He's got Flashpoint Beyond. He's got this Stargirl miniseries that he's working on as well. The fingers are crossed, at least on my end, that maybe he's going to have some input into the process on what DC Comics is going to be like heading out of Dark Crisis.
Yeah, I would think so, because I think with Jeff Johns, look, he's pretty diplomatic and he understands business, but I think he's going to come back, especially after how things ended, and be like, hey, look, if I'll do this, but if I'm doing this, like, I am not budging on A, B, and C, and this is happening, and you can either take it or leave it. And I think DC realizes, and I don't want to say desperate enough, but they're definitely desperate, but they know they need quality talent. So I think they're going to kind of fold to him, and they need a direction, and he's going to have a direction. So you might see more. I don't really know what's going on with his company that he started though. So that's
Well,
where my
yeah, he's got that
questions lie.
imprint over at Image still, and we still
Yeah.
haven't seen that Peter J. Tomasi, what is it, Snipe and Slug that had been announced for like a year and a half now.
Yeah.
So
Isn't he
yeah, that's
doing
what I'm
something
saying.
over at Marvel now. Tomasi.
John?
I saw Tomasi's name accredited to some Marvel book that I had to order.
okay, well, let me
So-
check that out. I haven't done a full look at the solicitations. Maybe it's in there, and I just didn't
I
see it.
forget, but yeah, I think it was.
Well, they would be smart to go pick him up. They could use some more writers too.
Yeah.
But
The
I was
fact
super
that
duper
he's on the
excited.
sideline, oh my gosh.
Yeah, there's something wrong with comic books when Peter J. Tomasi has just been sitting out there for like a year now in the lurch, with no projects to work on.
Oh,
Other than,
yeah.
he did that really short thing with Super Sons,
Yeah.
but it wasn't much. But Fatal J, you're the one that's with me, right? That this stuff is all amazing.
This is freaking amazing, man. Like I'm a
Unbelievable,
big Top Cow guy. Like all those artists that came out from under Savistry, Michael Turner, Dave Finch,
Ken Rocker.
Benitez, all those guys. Like I still buy their comics, man. So to see this I'm super hyped. This is like one of the number one things I'm looking forward to this year is to see this book. I can't wait.
We do have some more super chats. Thank you so much for everyone for supporting the channel. Cal Miles says, "Booyah, boy, better shut up when Jeff Johns comes back because I know he'll go on another stupid victimhood reign on Twitter and the Karens will follow." I'm assuming he's talking about
Ray Fisher.
Ray Fisher.
I was about to say, who is this?
I think he must be
Booyah,
Booyah
boy.
boy.
Okay, because Jeff Johns wanted him to say "booyah" in the movie, and Ray Fisher and Ray Fisher refused it. He thought it
I
was
can't do that.
disrespectful.
It's
Because
in my
the
contract, no
cartoon,
booyah.
the cartoon Cyborg says "booyah" all the time, and Ray Fisher thought it was
Yeah.
disrespectful.
I mean, the
Yeah,
fact
they
that the character was forced in there because Jeff Johns loved Cyborg so much, I mean, no offense, Ray Fisher should be glad because honestly, I would have preferred them kicking Cyborg out for Martian Manhunter, but that's the decision
It
that
should
they
have been in
wanted.
the Teen Titans movie.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Obviously,
saying. Like,
never
if they were
got
going to
there.
do Teen Titans, bam, there you go. And then Martian Manhunter just lurking in the back.
Well, and not only that, Cyborg just isn't a Justice League level ever.
Yeah.
I agree.
I mean, if I'm just like
Batman-
looking at the comics, it's like, all right, the Justice League is missing, or we need the backups, and maybe Cyborg is on the backup team. Maybe,
Yeah, the Titans, or he's Titans.
yeah, he's a
And-
top Titan, small
yeah.
fish, big pond, all that.
And
stuff.
what's crazy is he's like Batman's assistant to everything. Like Batman has him doing everything. And I'm like, why is he here? Batman can do this. And then Batman like,
Well, he's
Cyborg,
a
do the
Deus
system.
Ex Machina when he's on Justice League. They're like, let's just hook him up to this. And he'll
Yeah.
talk to it for it. I'm like,
Everything
okay,
that
I get it.
Cyborg does in Justice League, I was like, Batman already does it. Why are you here?
Yeah.
You are literally Batman's bitch. No offense, he is. And when I'm reading the books, I'm like, why are you here? Batman.
Well,
does
I
all
would
of it.
suggest that almost anybody these days, when Batman's involved, they're
Yeah.
portrayed as his bitch.
But I'm just
So-
saying, like, he does exactly the technology because Batman built the entire Justice League, everything. So when Cyborg's like there, he's like, oh, Cyborg, fire this up for me. Because he can do it if
Yeah.
he wanted to.
right.
I never
Did
understood
you start
how
my
he,
car, Cyborg?
All right, fellas. All right, fellas. Cal Lyle's got more to say. He needs to put Doc in his place here. He says, Doc, read some manga for F's sake. I'm sick of your negativity. Ask Nerdy Girl how to read them and find your taste in manga, sir.
Just read Dark Horse
No.
ones. They go left to right.
No, I have no interest in it. I don't
They even
care.
have color sometimes.
I thought
Don't
you like comic books and you
care.
like superhero stories.
I
That's
do.
manga.
I like that.
You like
That's why
manga
I'm
then?
not reading manga, because it's not comic books.
Go read My
They-
Hero
manga
Academia
is
and tell
comic
me
book,
that
trust
isn't the best X-Men comic book being produced today.
Maybe it is. Still don't
It
give a
is.
shit.
I don't care about those characters.
Care. I
They
don't
can't-
care about the
look,
fucking characters.
This is
Doc,
the deal.
just be honest. I'm
can't-
too old to learn to read comic books a new way.
I'm just too old to give a shit about new characters that aren't interesting to me.
well, there you
Man.
go.
My
Okay.
goodness,
Yeah.
this guy.
That none of
Wolfstein-
them. Go ahead. Never mind.
Wolfstein 3D says, I've read so many comments from shop owners that they heavily cut back on their DC orders. I think Yule is right. The book gets released in a challenging landscape and it will be an uphill battle for it.
And even more so, if they make it so that it's returnable, they will have those nice little false numbers for the first 2 or 3 issues. And then they'll all get returned back and they'll still claim, the success of how the book did. So we'll see. We'll see.
Are you hearing that as well from other shop owners? Because I've also heard that feedback a lot, that people are cutting back on DC a lot and just kind of new
Yeah.
comics in general.
Yeah. New comics in general, but DC more so. I think it's just the way it is. You find out. Thankfully, DC. Hey, man, most people should try it out. Maybe you can do a deal with your store. Find out which comics are returnable, and maybe they'll give you like $1 back in credit if you return it or something like that. There's some ways to like play it and see if this book is worthwhile because there are good other Batman books out there, but you can't read them all. So maybe you can work something out with your DC or your store that has DC comics. But yeah, we're gonna, after the first couple issues, you're gonna cut that really tight. Like you said, Wes, Batman Fortress, I sell out probably the first or second day, and that's the
You
way
buy
it is.
2 issues, 2 copies.
I it's more than that, and it's actually I'm like, wow, for a book like this, it's a good number. But I don't even want to see another issue of it on the shelf after the first week, really.
You don't want to have the stock.
No, it just isn't. It's a miniseries. I've felt that way with most miniseries over the course of my life anyway.
Mhm.
It's shocking when I see people spend a lot of money for that Wolverine one. Just get it in a book. It's right behind me.
Yeah, it's definitely like I said when I made my video, I'm empathetic to what Black Flag Comics did. You got a bunch of comic books you can't sell anymore. What are you going to do with them? I just, bootleg covers. I don't know
Well,
if it was
see,
the
and that
greatest
one's
idea
also
ever.
that one's another one where I can create a cover, and some stores are very successful at that, and then there's the other ones that try it and they're like, whoops. That's the last time I try anything new for 5 years.
Well, it's because you have to buy 3,000 comics minimum. Just
Exactly.
to do the order through Marvel or DC, that's an enormous risk. And if the artist doesn't deliver an amazing comic book cover, it's nothing to do with it.
That's right. I need some Stoko action on that.
And
Yes, man,
with
Stoko's amazing.
3,000 copies, you can't even really justify a much of a increased price point because it's not fucking rare.
Right.
Well, because if with the 3,000, you normally get 1,000 run of a virgin cover to go along with it, which makes it more rare, and that one's usually worth a lot more. But I talked to a lot of retailers. They go with like halvesies or quarters on it.
Even
You have like 5-6 shops come together and just split the stock.
even
There's
1,000 copies is
a
not
lot.
rare. That's still a lot. Sorry,
Well, it
comics,
makes
the comic collector market is tiny these days. 1,000 copies, everybody that wants one can get one for cover price.
So there's a store out here in Oakland that got a variant cover made for the first Black Panther that came out as the movie was coming out, and they went back to print three times. They had 3 prints of that thing. That's how well it did for them.
Wow.
And
Very nice.
holy cow! I think by the third one they're sitting on them. But wow.
That's a
pretty
good investment.
impressive. Yeah, I'm like, wow, that's that would not have been
That story
me.
doesn't
I
happen
would've-
very often, though.
No, I don't think
that one
so.
doesn't happen all that often. Lane
Yeah,
Kramer
but-
says Wildstorm is coming back. They so out of ideas. They like we strip mining Batman, Superman, bleep him, back to prison camp special for him. Jim Lee Wildstorm, let's suck up that and see what happens. Genius. Man, I know Doc's going to be excited about this. You love Wildstorm, Doc.
I'm disappointed I'm not getting the Warren Ellis written version, but honestly, after reading The Wildstorm, I was really kind of disappointed in the way Warren was doing it. I thought maybe Wildcats was going to be stepping closer back towards, the original, but then that all fell apart between the artist needing to just tweet all the time and Warren Ellis being whatever.
Horny.
Horny.
Yeah.
That book went away, but it's Matthew
Wildstorm has
Rosenberg.
potential.
It-
I
it's-
just hope when they bring Wildstorm back,
they're not
it
bringing
doesn't
back.
die off quickly like they always do. Because
They're-
DC always bring it back, and
They're
then a
not
few
bringing it
months
back.
later it's gone.
They didn't.
It's
They
well,
have.
not really back. It's already been there.
They haven't brought it back. They're not bringing anything back. The grifter's has been running around in Batman for like 2 years.
Bendix
Yes.
is in Superman.
Bendix
Yeah.
is in Superman.
And one of them are in
Gamora.
Wonder Woman.
The Authority are with Superman on World.
Yeah, one of the female characters, I forgot her name. She's over there in Wonder Woman right now, and I'm like, oh, okay. Like these
But
characters.
I guess I'm talking about like the Wildcats.
They're not. It
It's
doesn't
just
matter.
a title.
It's
They're
just a
it's
title.
Yeah, it's just the title. They're going to pick it up like as if they're always been in the DC universe.
Yeah.
But they're not going to have the history of the previous Wildstorm verse. It's going to
And-
be what the New 52 did with them.
Yes.
See, that's stupid.
They're still
Yeah.
in the DCU, and as long as the Wildstorm characters are in the DCU, no one's gonna give a fuck.
Yes.
They need to be in their
Yeah.
own universe. They don't
I agree.
function in the DCU.
I
Period.
They
agree.
need to be treated like the
I
milestone
want your-
characters.
I want Authority. I want Wildcats. I want what's the army guy?
Death
The
blow.
army guy.
Death blow.
Death Blow. I want Death Blow back. I want all those dope comics,
Look,
like Doc said, in their own universe.
yeah. Well, you can thank Grant Morrison for fucking that up.
All right, fellas, we got a few more to get through. McKinney Draw says, "Hail Wes, hail Trey, hail Fatal." Look at that, 3 fire emojis. I guess we're all
Let
on
me
Hey,
tell
fire.
you something
today.
how's
about
it
this
going,
man
McKinney?
right here.
Hail
this
McKinney
man-
Draws.
This man has his own YouTube channel. Me and him have the same birthday. His art is incredible. His live streams where he draw.
I'll
Not
have
only
to
is he
check it out.
drawing, but he got disco music in the background where you could dance with your lady. You know what I mean? I love his stuff.
Nice.
McKinney Draws. Please subscribe to this guy now. Thank you.
Very nice. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Wraith X7 says, Jaws is good but overrated. His major flaw is that he often allows his bad fan ideas to creep into pro comic work in his DC and Marvel work. We all have bad ideas, especially when
Yeah.
you've written as prolifically as Jeff Johns. But I think on
He can have a few.
par, when you look at what he's done, a vast majority of it is very good to great.
I'm gonna put it like this: I'm the Jeff Johns, even though he did the. I'm not gonna speak it on this show. He did him dirty, but I will say Jeff Johns is the last of a dying breed when it comes to comic book writers. Just in my opinion. Because think about it,
Josh?
the
Is he
last.
overrated?
No, I mean, if you look at, look, like you said, there are going to be times where people could always do better, and sometimes his execution maybe could be a little bit better. But you've got to look at it realistically. That the one person in modern day comics that has done the most to elevate DC as a brand and push characters forward and give them new stories is Jeff Johns. Like, he did it with Flash, he did it with Green Lantern, he did it with Aquaman. He did so much to elevate these characters and push them where people were buying these books at rates that they weren't buying previously. He sells. He's a big idea guy. He's kind of like Mark Miller. He's a big idea guy. That's why they shoved him into film and TV so quickly. But I don't think he's overrated. It's fine if you don't like him. I don't like his Batman. I don't like how he writes Batman. But give me a Jeff Johns book, I'm going to read it, especially compared to the crap we're getting now.
That's true.
Absolutely. Kenneth Dowling says, to Josh's comment on talent at DC, Zaslav is going to change that. Glad Johns is at DC, but if he was writing a Justice League book, I'd be more excited.
I think you're hanging your hat too much on Zaslav with DC Comics as a whole. The man doesn't know enough about the comics or people running comics to come in and make the decisions that need to be made. Now, he might see that this isn't working and it should be doing better and make a change in leadership, but don't hold your breath. It's going to take a little while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I imagine whoever is going to be in charge of the DC Films universe will have limited input on what the comic books are doing, like a yes or no kind of say, like, yes, you can do that with this character, or no kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it will influence eventually the comic books, but it's going to be a while before we see any of that stuff, unfortunately.
Even though everybody right now is hating on Zaslav, but it's like he brought a company and he has to fix it. You gotta give this man a chance to fix the company, because if it was so good, Warner Brothers wouldn't have been sold off 3 times. Like, I mean, everybody's trying to jump. What was happening?
Trey, I love him. He got rid of Batgirl. Like, I'm just
praise
I was
God.
just dancing. I was doing this little dance right here when they said he got rid of Batgirl. Did y'all see the costume? It was horrible.
Yes.
Well, you two sound like two racists.
Honestly, though,
it can be.
Going back to AOL would have been an improvement for Warner and DC.
Jeez, AOL.
I know. Look, the DC Comics is way too small. I mean, that's like him overseeing the janitorial department at like CNN Tower.
Yeah, he's going to probably adjust the budget, hire someone to be in charge, and that's about it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's all. That's assuming he even gives a shit that much.
Well, he gives a shit about the money. He's getting money everywhere.
Well, I mean, the comics division enough to even.
Yeah, but Jim Lee's probably really expensive.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, the most realistic outcome of this is Jim Lee's gonna get replaced, which I don't necessarily think is a bad thing. It's just gonna matter of who they replace him with. But once you see that there's replacements happening, at least from the executive level within DC, hopefully the people that are in DC get their shit together to go, oh, well, we just can't get away with sucking and failing. We actually have to deliver, and we'll try a little bit harder. Or go the route of saying, like, I'm going to stop making the books that I want to read and make the books that are going to hopefully reach mass people.
Yeah.
I think the problem is they have been writing the books that they want to read. The problem is they're the books that only they want to read.
No, that's my point.
Yeah, that's what he was saying.
Yeah. I think
Cal Lyle says,
oh, sorry.
He says, off topic, I decided to rewatch The Swamp Thing, and it's highly unlikely, but what are the odds of that coming back since they set up the Rot in Woodrow? It can't come back because they ended the show because they were supposed to do some paperwork and it got messed up and they didn't get like their big like $40 million discount. So the show ended up costing like twice as much as it was supposed to.
Well, flip that a little bit. They made the show because the state made the issue with the paperwork, and the tax cuts were so outrageously good that it let them make it. And then when they were going to go back to try to do season 2, they were like, no, that was a mistake. It shouldn't have been that amount. This is your amount. And they're like, well, we can't afford that. It's not coming back. Sorry, guys.
Oh man,
That
that was good.
That whole swamp was beautifully built. Like everything from that swamp was like hand built.
Yeah.
When you look at the behind the scenes of it, you're like, damn, what a waste to just let this go. Like, but I understand.
If they already have
this,
if they already have the sets built, they don't need to build them again.
But it's in the state that was trying to give them the.
You
the
can take them home.
No.
Doc,
What I'm saying
the show's
is,
not coming back. They've
Yeah,
already said it's not coming back.
it's the tax breaks for filming. So they were pretty much like paying no tax at all to film there. So
They got like a very generous deal, and then
I'm quite sure the state itself appreciate the swamp, because they can be like, look, this is where DC Swamp Thing was filmed, and here's some money so we can use it for people to, film our other shows, or if you want to see the behind the scenes of Swamp Thing, and you're just like, oh god damn it, you guys could at least did season 2. So the state's kind of like, we win both ways. Because they're not gonna. Why would you tear that swamp down? Like, no.
Kenneth Dowling says the best Bennifer is Jennifer Lopez. Definitely, Garner is good, but J-Lo is super hot.
I don't know. That's a close one, man.
It
Because
look,
tickles your fancy.
J-Lo's physically, she's super hot, but like, it's gonna take her 2 months before she decides she's tired of you and trying to find the next guy. And then,
oh yeah, she's been ran through Hollywood.
Oh my goodness, you can't say
J-Lo got back in her iconic green dress.
That is not what I said.
J-Lo got back in that iconic green dress, and I was like, damn.
This what all I'm saying.
Let's just say Ben Affleck is living a blessed life. You know what I'm saying?
Can I just say this? I just want to say this.
You can't say anything after what you just said, Bailey J.
No.
You're on timeout.
Go to the corner right now.
What you said. Yeah,
Corner.
Corner. I promise I wasn't gonna say nothing bad, man. I promise you.
Doc makes that promise all the time. It never works out for him.
Go put your nose in the corner and think about what you said.
Yeah,
hey, I heard that a lot when I was a kid.
We believe it.
You're traumatizing me right now.
While listening to Jenny from the Block.
Callum says, how many of you saw that TikTok video of that woman on Black Panther 2? I have not seen this.
I saw it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm pretty sure he's referring to the woman that's telling people that white people cannot buy tickets, and if they buy tickets, they need to give them to black people.
Yeah.
And white
They did
people
that with
are
the
not.
first one too.
Yeah,
I'm doing that. I'm gonna.
Did
go
she
out and
know
do
it was
that.
a white
I'm gonna
person that
see how
created?
many-
But then she's like, if you
I'm
love
gonna
black
go to the whitest
people,
part of town. I'm gonna buy some tickets. I'm gonna sit outside and wait for some black people to come in. And if they don't by opening, I'm not gonna give them.
the
Them.
white.
No,
Did you
you gotta
tell
go
this
into the
lady?
community.
Yeah,
Out
But
front.
you go into
Okay.
communities, you got to go to the black communities, and you.
Oh,
gotta
now I have to go there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you tell? Can somebody please tell this lady that a white person created Black Panther? That you have
doesn't know
white
that.
people behind the production of Black Panther?
Well, also,
do you want to tell?
she wants all the white people to like stand outside and protect the black people seeing it, as if people are gonna like go in and
Storm
like,
the
burn down the
movie?
theater because black people are watching the movie. But I'm also like, can you imagine the news article that would come out of that? 600 white people were outside AMC theater blocking it to keep people from seeing Black Panther. Like, are you kidding me?
Well, it depends on who's reporting it, of course.
Well, that would
Are
be
we supposed to be
CNN.
armed also? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Well, I live in Texas, so people are going to be armed.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
Yeah,
That's just a bike rack kind of
That
thing.
is
even
weird
babies have
stuff.
guns in Texas.
TikTok
kinda
makes
funny.
people do stupid shit, you know?
oh
Well,
my
she
god!
got banned though, so that's good because she
Oh,
got banned.
great.
TikTok was
I
like,
didn't
no,
know
we're
that.
done.
We're talking about
As
this.
soon as that video went viral, TikTok said, and your account is deleted. No, you're done. Get out of
Get
here.
enough out of you. Man, if I wish I had the stones of TikTok, I just banned Fatal J. Like, you're out of here, sir. Never again.
Isn't TikTok like it in China? Aren't they based out of China? They're probably like,
Yeah.
we don't
Yes.
consider these fucking
Yes, and do
Americans.
you know their
Dumbasses.
TikTok is educational while ours is dumb and stupid and bringing down our society? That's the difference between their TikTok and ours.
Yeah,
you know
well,
what?
their society is completely controlled by the government. There's gives and takes with all stuff.
But you know what'd be funny if a white person had said that about all the Tyler Perry movies and was like, black people do not watch Tyler Perry movies. You have to give the tickets to white people so they can watch the Tyler Perry movies. Boy, that junk would have been hilarious and everybody would have been livid. But that's what she basically
be the first
said.
laugh a Tyler Perry movie ever got. Let's just put it that way.
I hate Tyler Perry movies.
I've seen the most Tyler Perry when I used to have to go and wait for my prescription to get marijuana card.
Yeah. Illegal weed. Whenever I go home,
a lot of Tyler Perry I saw.
All my nieces and nephews
They
are like, they're biracial, they're half black, and they're always like, let's watch Medea. I'm like, I don't get it. I've never seen there's not a funny joke to be had. The best one I saw was the Christmas movie, and it still wasn't funny.
It's the personality. It's the personality of Medea. That's all.
It's the same movie.
Yeah, but my sisters-in-laws have a mom that acts just like that. I get it.
They love it.
She's sitting right next to me.
It's a very popular. That thing is it was theater productions when there weren't theater productions for African Americans to see, and I it's not great entertainment necessarily. I mean, it's probably great entertainment. It's not high class or anything like that, but give it to Tyler Perry. That guy.
Yeah.
I give it to him. No,
it's no barber.
Dude, if he came and wrote a comic book, I'd pay attention.
He talked about it too. He did talk about that. He said he understands that his film's not like the best or whatever, but he said the reason why he still does it is because he knows there's a dedicated audience that are going to show up.
Making money.
He got a hard audience.
He makes them for cheap and makes good money off of them. Like,
and he plays the long game. He plays the long game, which I wish DC and Marvel would do. Play the long game, DC and Marvel. Hello.
We can complain about how mediocre they are all we want to, but at the end of the day, look at his bank account.
Exactly.
Shin Megami Talk says, so when are we getting a new Hellblazer series? Josh, you are the DC aficionado, either the insider. When are we getting one of these?
Never.
When there's a new
we just had the one
created.
from Tom Taylor.
I don't know, honestly.
It sounds like we're going to get a Constantine TV show, and when that comes out, you should get a series or two.
Hey, I do want to say this. I was on HBO Max, and I was just bored, and I watched this Constantine House of Mystery. That is a hardcore animated movie because he literally got sent to hell. It was like a house, but it was actually hell. And every time he would see his loved ones, they would rip his flesh apart and beat him senseless, and he would die and then get resurrected and go through it. He went through that for like 2 or 3 years until he learned how to escape.
J is the king of the side quest.
So what you're saying is that it was a Constantine story. Hey, much. Wes, I think you actually missed over that last super chat.
Okay.
Bro, that animated movie kind of like messed me up watching that though.
I'm asking Josh a question, please.
The one that said John's Cares. You had it up, and then we were on our rant, and then you moved to this one.
Didn't we do that one?
Did we do that one?
Oh yes, Nicholas Greer. Sorry about that. John's cares about the characters. That's more than you could say about anyone else at DC.
True.
Yeah, I think it is a true statement, and that is probably the problem with all of this.
I have to have like some mind powers to know that for 100%. I think there's a few people I think Williamson
Mark Waid seems to care about the characters.
Mark Waid, regardless of what people want to say about Mark Waid, he cares about the history of both Marvel and DC.
Oh yeah.
He's like a Jim Cornette type guy, He knows how to run things, and he might rankle you,
Yeah, look, there's absolutely some people that care. It's just the people that care aren't the ones that can make
in charge.
Make the decisions.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's one of the problems. Where are we at? We're at Caves of Chaos 123 says DC should do 1950s reprints at $2 they'd sell. Well, I think any comic book with DC on it at $2 would sell.
Yeah,
I wouldn't go to the 1950s. I would go to like the 1980s when DC really started growing up and you got some really good fleshed out versions of the characters, specifically Superman and Batman. And Teen Titans.
Perfect.
Oh, that's a good idea.
I mean, look, you've got the facsimile editions that come out on a semi-regular basis. And for years now, they've outsold a lot of your regular comics. So,
yeah.
All that reminds me.
But if you go to like the Golden Age, Silver Age DC, you know this better than I do. Like, it's pretty random.
Mm-hmm.
kind of really off the wall stuff. You might see Superman like maybe hitting on his cousin or something. You gotta be a little selective. Little cousin
It's
loving
true.
going on.
Keep it in the
Bending
family.
women over and spanking Lois Lane and stuff like that.
We
And
find
Batman
out,
too, Papa Spank.
Yeah.
we find
Spanks
out
Catwoman.
we find out that in that universe, Clark landed in Alabama.
Yeah.
Well, next week there's a facsimile edition of Detective Comics 27
Oh my God. Look at
that
that.
comes
Oh
out. It
man,
has
and
the
Amazing Fantasy 15,
advertisements.
right?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Amazing,
Nice.
yeah, they did
I
a
think
Spider-Man.
so,
Yeah,
yeah.
it might be the next
annual
week. But I
came
know
out
it's
this
coming
week,
soon.
and it
That's a
has
reprint?
stories that aren't just Batman. Although I'm probably showing you Batman right now.
No, you're doing
But yeah,
Spy.
there's cool stuff.
That's
Oh,
that's a
snap.
Very
reprint.
cool.
They were gonna
It's
do.
facsimile edition.
They were gonna do an omnibus of the first 26 issues, and then they were like, "Oh, there's a lot of racist stuff in here. I think we shouldn't do it."
That's why I think you should kind of skip that era of DC and jump right to the 80s. Where cocktail.
Well,
that's
you
not
know,
what I'm
what I would
about
like
to-
to do is say, like, what about the stuff that wasn't and are characters within your universe? Like, let's say the old Slam Bradley stuff. You know, maybe make a facsimile or at least a compilation of that. It doesn't have to be expensive. That would be cool. You know, that type of stuff.
Wolfstein
that's what
3D
it is.
says Josh is right. The senior executive management doesn't micromanage a company. They expect management to come up with a plan and place that management if the plan isn't convincing.
Yeah.
true.
You know, a lot of times too, if you don't have executives change, you tend to see management stick around because your executives are going to listen to what your management's saying. So if something's bad, they're going to throw blame on whoever's below them. And then you kind of don't really feel out that that's the bullshit reality until they've gone through like 3 or 4 people. But when you have like high executives come up from a parent company and come in, they're immediately going to look at executives and go, "You're not doing your job," and kick them out. So that's what I think you're going to see happen. It's going to take a little while. There will be change. Cross your fingers, but it's going to take a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think 'cause he's going to look at it. He's going to look at the Batman sales, and he's going to be like, okay, if we can get Batman top number 1, why are our other DC characters not selling like Batman? He's not going to understand anything. All he's going to do is look at Batman is selling. Why aren't the other characters selling like him? Fix it. And that's probably it. I believe that's probably what he's going to do. And figure out, get
It's
some
going to
people
be
to
all
do it.
cost cutting. Their budget's going to
Mhm.
come down a bit. They're going to restructure, bring in someone cheaper to oversee it. Hopefully, Jeff Johns, like I said, has a say. He's writing a comic book full time for the first time. You know, he's still involved, I guess, in that Green Lantern show that apparently is still going to happen. So he still has, you know, an active role within the things going on at Warner Brothers.
I hope they're
Discovery. So-
rewriting it. I honestly hope they are rewriting it because them leaks were terrible for the Green Lantern show. I was like, this not Green Lantern, but okay. It sounds like CW, but all right. If that's what
they
you want
need
to do.
get
Just
away
think,
from that
guys, they're
CW
going
crap.
to get rid of Jim Lee to save money and to bring in a more cost-effective person. Heather Antos is going to get hired as the head of DC Comics.
Oh, well,
Boom.
it's over.
Fix it.
You
It's
know, you
over.
know what? You know what? With modern comics, I wouldn't fucking put it past them.
Like, right?
Cal Lyle says the House of Mystery was crap. City of Demons was more messed up because it showed the Newcastle incident and the demon that destroyed him. But John got his vengeance. But I do think LA is cursed. Fatal J. House of Mystery was crap, son.
That's not true.
That was quite the rebut. Put him in his place, Fatal J. Did you watch City of Demons yet?
No, sir. But that House of Mystery, I'm telling you, it messed me up bad, man. Because he was like getting his limbs and stuff ripped up. They were chopping him up with an axe, and he kept coming back. And
That's what they did to Superman on Warworld. They would kill him and resurrect him and kill him and resurrect him over and over again.
I was feeling so bad for him, man. I felt so bad for Constantine because he couldn't win. That was a good movie.
I mean, that's pretty much all of his books, but sure.
Sounds like Supernatural to me. Which brother are we going to kill this year to bring back from hell?
Well, oh yeah, I remember when they built up Dean dying and went to hell and stuff like that. That was something crazy.
Everybody
It's
said
the
that's
same thing
one of the best shows ever. Supernatural.
First 3 or 4 seasons.
The
look pretty
first 5
good.
seasons. Once we got past the first 5 seasons, which it was supposed to stop after 5 seasons, but it was successfully done so well that they had to milk it for all it was worth. And
Yeah, you had the little girl demon that was like Satan or whatever. Once that kind of ended, they just did the same story on Recycle. with the
And of course, they had got the LGBT community upset because Dean and Castiel, the angel, they were best friends, but they kind of had innuendos, and they were like, "You didn't put them together." Duh, you could tell that they weren't never going to be together.
Don't ever Google Winchester brothers.
Oh yes, the show actually talked about that. Because Dean had said, "Hey,
I'm
Sam,
Google it now.
Don't do it. You're gonna see two brothers doing stuff.
Nope. We're not having this conversation.
They showed him talking about it too. It was hilarious.
They call it Winchester, something weird.
Yeah,
like
Winchester. Yeah,
very bad. Biggie Steve says, "What is better, Zack Snyder's Justice League or Marvel Endgame? And do you think they have a live-action Dragon Ball Z movie with actors who would play each character?" That's not even close. Endgame is like infinitely better than Zack Snyder's Justice League.
100%.
And I already know who they're gonna cast for Dragon Ball. Justin Chatwin.
There you go.
Because they already did it.
I know you guys are gonna hate me, but I'm gonna say Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Whoa!
And
yeah!
Before because most of Endgame was boring as hell. Like literally that final battle.
Did you watch Zack Snyder's Justice League for 4 hours?
I did.
Wasn't exactly the most scintillating movie.
But it felt more interesting than what Endgame did to me.
I agree.
After Infinity War, I was expecting we were going to get that same quality, and then Endgame just kind of felt slow until they got to the final battle. To me,
In your face, Wes. In your face.
Yeah. I don't know. I bet Marvel Studios are going in your face, Fatal J. We made $1.8 billion, and Zack Snyder's Justice League cost an extra $30 million.
I don't care.
No new subscribers. In your face, son.
Hey, here's what I'm going to say. It just means we have two people on the panel that are wrong.
No, let's be honest. Everybody is just so hyped up on MCU juice. Look at Endgame. Endgame is not all that great at all.
No.
As a script and a story, Endgame is not great, but it's a celebration of the first 20 movies.
Yeah.
And a bow to put on that era of Marvel and the MCU and moving forward. I think it absolutely does the job. It's entertaining, and you get the big moment where I'm on your left, and he looks over, and you got all the stuff going on.
Well, I thought it was when all those ladies showed up at the end and that scene. That was the important.
The fact that Black Widow wasn't there was kind of disappointing, though.
If you're gonna have fan service, right? If you're gonna have fan service to kind of be like, all right, ladies, this one's for you. I would much rather have a 30-second, 45-second clip than a full fucking series. Okay.
Yes,
that's true. That's true.
And look, there's plenty of fan service things we get that we're like, all right, yeah. My main problem with Zack Snyder's Justice League is those are not the fucking DC characters. Period.
Right.
Also,
the Avengers that we're watching now is not the.
No, they're the all.
I'm not saying they're not. Right now, it's very skewed, but up to Endgame, they were all pretty on point.
Tony Stark was Tony Stark.
They were a mix of the Ultimate Universe and Classic.
Yeah, a lot more Ultimate, yes.
Just like the DC is more in New 52 than Classic DC. That's what it is.
Yeah, I guess I can see that.
If you're looking at the New 52, that's exactly what the DCEU is.
Fatal J's super excited. Someone can actually make his arguments for him.
Yeah, but the New 52 sucks.
Like the New 52, though.
And the New 52 sucks.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of people did not like the New 52, and DC was like, well, remember, we got a big sale with the New 52 when we first started. So, hey, Zach, can you make our movies like the New 52? And he said, okay.
In fairness,
I think he was trying to mimic the Batman stuff that was done.
That's basically what it was.
Because the director, the Christopher Nolan trilogy.
Yeah,
because Warner Brothers saw how successful that was.
I think they can't get under the shadow of that Christopher Nolan stuff still.
No,
they
Doc,
don't know what to do.
Doc, what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, is there a point to talking about this? Both universes are fucking dead.
All right, Doc. Kenneth Dallard wants to say.
Can I say this real fast?
No, it's dead.
We talked about it enough.
It actually would have went against your case.
I don't care, man.
It's still dead.
Can't you mute him? Can't you
just mute him? All right, Fatal J. Kenneth Dallard says, on the Callum Lyle chat, speaking about the lady from TikTok, that woman is an example of people moving their mouths without one single thought. Glad she got banned.
True.
What do you think about that, Fatal J?
I don't know, man. I didn't see it. I didn't see what happened. The Black Panther lady?
Yeah, the Black Panther lady.
As people are stupid, man. Like it's just like I said, a white person made the Black Panther character. It's white people behind the production of the Black Panther movies. You just have idiots out there.
Plus, I don't think Marvel Studios or the actors from Black Panther are really hoping that the audience segregates itself and they don't have anyone outside of black folks attending the movie. I think they want to make.
We're allowed to, like in the second week, go and see it.
Oh,
yeah. That for opening weekend, you're not supposed to see it. According to
but
it's also like,
what if you're in the Philippines? You might not see a black person for 3 months.
I kind of want to be like, bitch, did you even watch the first movie? You're going against the lesson. Come on, now.
Well, you have to invite that one person.
Well, remember, a lot of people came out of the first one thinking that
Wakanda was
all right, Doc.
The
I can already tell
Killmonger
you're going
was
somewhere bad.
the hero. No, I was going to say a lot of people came out thinking that Killmonger
was the hero. He was the only one that had a straight thought in his mind. Ideator says Snyder stands got to go. You got to agree. A point. Got a game.
Never.
Mr. DC Comics, Batman always sells because the best artists and writers are always on his book. Endgame was only good at the end. Hulk versus Thanos rematch never happened.
I'm so mad we never got that rematch because Thanos made Hulk look like a bitch.
Bro, that was the dumbest thing ever. Hulk was afraid.
Yeah.
The Hulk was afraid.
What?
Yeah,
like the Hulk was afraid. That was dumb.
And then the next time we saw the Hulk, me and the Hulk, we talked about it, and now we're cool with each other. I was like, that's it?
Martha. That wasn't dumb, Fatal J?
Professor Hulk.
Like I was saying before I was rudely interrupted, the better argument would have been Infinity War versus Zack Snyder's Justice League. And then,
you say Infinity War.
Then that would be like astronomically better rather than just infinitely better.
Like,
yes.
Infinity War was great.
And Snyderverse sucked. And Justice and Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Doc, you stick that pole up your butt like you was doing last time.
Look, I'm just gonna say that I'm very sad that in Endgame or Infinity War, whatever, we didn't have Thanos going, "Hey there, big guy, the sun's getting a little low."
Oh, this should have the real battle. But Mr. DC Comics makes a good point. Batman sells because he's Batman, but they always put the best artist and writer.
Yeah, writer.
I don't agree. That was a thing that is recent and
since Jim Lee and Jeff Loeb.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. Like nobody's like breaking down everybody wants to fall all over themselves and talk about Norm Brayfogle, and I love his work, and Kelly Jones and Jim Aparo. But
Neil Adams.
Neil Adams didn't do it. He did a few issues.
He didn't illustrate Batman with Denny O'Neil.
It was Brave and the Bold and Detective, and it was only a little bit. It's not enough to put. I mean, he had like 3 trades, and it's over the
different era of comic books. But today they put all the best creators on the book.
Only today, only now, and they didn't do it. That was the reason why Batman just wasn't good up until the 90s.
I'm just actually
past the 90s.
It is a post Hush. I
just want to be specific. That's all.
I'm just begging them just put good writers and artists on Wonder Woman, please. She wasn't this bad before the New 52. What's happening to her?
Look, Callum Lyle is begging Fatal J, step up and move on, sir.
How did you step up?
I think there's an F missing. I think it's supposed to be shut the fuck up,
maybe
pussy. I don't know.
Move on, sir.
Okay, Callum. Callum, I'm stepping up. I'm stepping up now.
Step up.
He's so pissed he had a conniption while typing.
Well, he's British. Maybe that's a British word that I don't know. Perhaps. Dylan Lindsay says the New 52 wasn't all bad. It had highs and lows for sure, but I know it wasn't. It was a great jumping on point for people. I got into comics because of it.
For sure.
I like New 52.
100%.
I mean, I'm glad that it got people in, but at the cost of destroying 30 years of good history and people who love the characters. It felt like they pushed us out just to get new readers that only stayed for 3 months. You stayed for 3 months.
You're that is a real thing. Also, it was more like 2 or 3 years, but some of those books you knew right off the bat weren't going to be like successful. But there were some really cool hidden gems also. I highly recommend getting Frankenstein, Agent of Shade. Very good.
Oh,
Very nice.
No,
Nicholas Russ says
Animal Man is
Yule's
Western
pick
book,
looks
but-
like Everlast from House of Pain. Are you ready to jump
Oh,
around, sir?
snap.
Jump around.
Right?
No.
Yeah,
I think
this
he's
House
saying
of
you're
Pain.
old.
Well,
We're all old.
Funny,
Probably except for-
you guys talking about the new 52. The older than us old people were the ones that were upset with the new 52 even more. Well, I guess I don't need to read that anymore.
Mask of Shy says Endgame is good and Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 heart boring. I disagree. Even stuff like Arthur lonely walking to embrace the sea showed character. Don't like it, but it ain't bad. Well,
Mask of
some
Shy
people
is
like
one
it.
of my dear friends. He's another wonderful,
That makes
fantastic
more sense.
artist. You guys make sure to check out his channel as well. Make sure to subscribe to him.
Well, thank you so much for supporting the channel. We will agree to disagree on Zack Snyder's Justice League. Kenneth Dowling says, Fatal J, other panel guests, respectfully disagree with you on Endgame. It had plot issues, but it had some great moments from the comics. Zack, Justice League is better than Whedon's, but 30 minutes too long. Kenneth Dowling is bringing the truth here.
You watch
I'm trying to-
Endgame, and Endgame was literally almost 4 hours too. So if you can sit there and watch Endgame, you can sit there and watch Zack Snyder's Justice League. And on
Exactly.
top
But
of that-
Endgame is fun
and
and
on
it
top
has
of that,
lots of action. and good
Endgame
stuff.
re-released the movie and added 30 more minutes of extra content on it that wasn't even that shouldn't even have been in the movie neither. And guess what?
But
Endgame
Endgame was a
watch it.
culmination of 20
know,
films.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, if you can sit there and watch Endgame, you can
Zack
sit there
Snyder's Justice
watch
League was a
the
culmination of
Justice League.
20 videos from Fatal J.
Look,
Which one was more relevant?
All I'm saying,
I'm
if
gonna
you
say
can watch a
something.
3-hour movie, you can
I'm
watch
gonna
4.
actually say something in Snyder's favor for this. At the end of the day, Warner Brothers wanted him to jump forward 10 years and make a movie that introduced all these characters.
And Justice
brought them
League
all
was supposed
together.
to be 2 movies, not 1.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they originally did it as 2, and then they decided not to, and they wanted it as 1. At the end of the day, Snyder had a losing battle. Whedon
Yes, he
had
did.
even more of a losing battle because they wanted to take him as 4-hour movie and make it 2 hours or less. Warner Brothers is at fault more than anyone else.
Yeah,
Let's
that's
move
true.
on.
That's true.
Biggie Steve says, does Dragon Ball Z really have the actors to pull it off in a live action series or movie, and who plays Vegeta in characters?
No, we
Oh,
already
God,
had
Vegeta.
Dragon Ball Evolution. We don't need
Oh
it.
no,
We
Wes.
do not need a live action Dragon Ball. No, we already
Some
had Dragon
things
Ball
are not
Evolution.
meant to
No,
be
no thanks.
live action.
No thanks.
Some things,
No.
some things are not meant to be live action.
Once
No.
Do they do
again,
it like
Justin
Dark Crystal
Chatwin.
with puppets or something? Remember Dark Crystal
Man,
with the puppets?
I
Jim Henson?
never liked that movie.
All
You
the
don't like
way.
Dark
Do
Crystal?
that.
You don't like Dark Crystal?
Not-
Why not?
Man,
with
you were
the Jim,
losing your street cred, man.
the Jim Henson stuff. No, man, that
Yeah,
Yeah,
sucks.
the Dark Crystal, a fantasy adventure with puppets?
You don't like
Bro,
it?
they
Why
was
not?
moving like this.
They're puppets.
No,
They're puppets. Like
I
that's
didn't
so
like
cool.
that.
Yeah, you know,
But you like
honestly, I wouldn't
Hanna-Barbera?
use that
I love Hanna-Barbera.
Okay, just
Scooby
want to make
Doo.
sure.
I mean, I really
All right,
wish we had
Fatal J,
another
but
movie
you
like
don't
that.
think
You
they
can't.
should
You don't like puppet programs. You don't like Thunderbirds.
I
and
like
stuff
Fraggle
that?
Rock stuff. I guess I'm
Fraggle
just
Rock?
Fraggle
I just
Rock.
watched the Muppet Show the other
don't like
day.
Fraggle
Old
Rock?
ones.
No,
Can we get
the
another
Dozers?
Real American Hero movie? I'm just saying. Can we get another movie like the Real American Heroes?
So
like
you
that
mean
movie?
to tell me you really enjoy it when you can see the strings and everything and doing
Yes. what?
Yeah.
What was
I like
what
Team
about
America.
World
Team
War
America?
II?
Yeah.
like?
That's
Yeah,
pretty funny.
yeah.
Never speak about Zack Snyder again.
Oh Jesus fucking Christ! Can we please?
I'm
get off
not
this
a big
shit?
music video guy, but Trey Michael, you don't think they should do a Dragon Ball Z live action movie?
Oh
They just-
no. No.
Is it because the material's too hard to adapt? Do you think they just can't do it live action, or do you think it's just better anime?
It's better animated, and on top of that, with the Western, they're going to try to Americanize it, just like they did with Dragon Ball Evolution. And the characters aren't going to
Cowboy
be
Bebop.
characters. Yeah, Cowboy Bebop. And you're going to have the actors that are going to talk about how terrible the anime was, and we're making it better, and the fans are weebs and all that nonsense. So no thanks. I don't.
Battle Angel Alita was pretty good live action.
They
Yeah,
stayed
but
faithful to the manga.
Yeah,
though.
that was dope.
You had James Cameron producing, Robert Rodriguez
directing.
directing. Yeah. If you can get that kind of talent, especially whenever the producer and the director both absolutely adore the source material, maybe. But if you get a bunch of typical Hollywood hacks that want to try to ride the coattails of something that somebody else made popular and then claim I'm doing it better, which is what 90% of adaptions do, fuck it. Don't even bother.
And plus another issue is the female characters in most anime. They do not like them, being women. So it's like you're going to bring women characters in there. You're going to cover them up. You're going to change them. She's going to be better than the men. She's going to talk down to the men. No thanks. Don't even bother doing it. We don't need it.
Yeah, we don't need
Sorry,
it, man.
Biggie Steve. It sounds like it's a big no for the panel. They don't think that Dragon Ball Z should be adapted to the live screen. Now let's get to the next topic. This is a Fatal J special. We've got the Rings of Power Fiasco ongoing.
All
It's
right.
going to debut next month on Amazon Prime. It feels like they are doing everything in their power to alienate the prospective viewers and customers of this show, despite spending $1 billion. They're spending $60 million an episode on this thing.
Yeah.
We're going to need at least, I think, 2 seasons at least. What the hell's going on here, Fatal J?
I'm actually a huge fan of the books. I've read all the books, and it's just a beautiful thing to see such a backlash going on with this show. This show dropped September 2nd, and you remember how it was a big backlash with The Last Jedi? Well, you're going to see something even bigger and greater when it comes to this show. It's getting ratioed like crazy by the thousands, and the Tolkien fan base goes back years before even Star Wars, so people are pretty pissed off about this show. Now, they have things in there like black dwarves, black elves, black hobbits, and it's not that people are being racist. It's just it's not it doesn't come from the Tolkien lore. Now, if you understand J.R.R. Tolkien, he actually has the black race in his books, but Middle Earth is more focused on the European section of Middle Earth. So it's just going to be a big mess, and I'm really looking forward to see September 2nd how everything turns out. I think they're going to lose money, but they may not lose money because people are going to be curious about the show, but people are pissed off.
I'm not exactly sure how they really make money other than it's Amazon, right? As long as you've got like Prime. Hey, I'm getting free shipping anyway. I might as well watch your fucking television also, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they said they spent $465 million just to produce the series itself. So you done spent all this money on here, and you're ignoring the fans. You're ignoring Tolkien. Scholars? They fired real Tolkien scholars.
A scholar named Tom Shippey.
Yeah.
A scholar named Tom Shippey, who's very respectable in the Tolkien world, and they got rid of him. And I think the reason why they got rid of him because he was probably calling them out, saying, "Hey, this is not right. This is not canon." You know?
Yeah.
So,
Now,
it's talking about the things black. Like they keep talking about the characters are black. Like if you listen to all the interviews, it would be like, well, we have black and we have female, and that's when I tell you that's every time they talk about that show, that is all they talk about. They don't even talk about the world itself. They talk about how amazing it is to be black and female. And I'm like, okay, but that's not Tolkien though. Now, if it was its own original material, I think it would do better. But you're attaching it to Lord of the Rings. You're telling people that if you don't like it, you're the problem. Because even the actors are already on their social media talking about if you don't like it, something's wrong with you, you're a racist. We don't stand and condone for that. But then every interview or media thing that they have out on YouTube, it gets ratioed to hell and back. Like the highest thing, the dislike was like 1.2, 1.3 million dislikes. And people are repeating all of the Tolkien lines and calling them out, and yet you're still going to double down on it. And the only reason why Amazon can do this is because Amazon has that delivery stuff. If Amazon didn't have this delivery stuff, they wouldn't be able to do it. Same thing with the MCU stuff. If Marvel didn't have Disney behind them, these movies and stuff wouldn't be doing as well as people claim it is, because they have such a back from it, and they have too many yes people that'll be like, well, it doesn't matter what you guys think, because our true fans, quote unquote, true fans are the ones that are going to stand by us. No, the reason why you got it is because you have something that will offset the cost. That's the only reason why. If we didn't need delivery stuff, Amazon would not be doing this. Trust me on that.
Any TV show, movie, whatever that pre-excuse their failure with some excuse making about blaming everybody. They know that it's going to fail. They just want to have a ready-made excuse.
Yeah.
So they've come up with the pre-skews.
I see. So you guys don't like it because it's you're racist.
Yes,
and stuff like that.
that's
pretty much.
You never notice successful properties never do that. They don't because they know that they have a winner. When now they've recognized, Hollywood is recognized, Hollywood media, television, film, or comic book, whatever. Video games, they all recognize when they have a stinker on their hands.
Yeah.
And now they're like, well, fuck, we have to do preemptive damage control. So, and they recognize that it's worked.
It's one thing when an artist or a creator of something takes offense or is sad or upset that they made a flop and they lash out.
Yes.
It's very understandable.
But
very
they do
understandable.
it. They
but
do
these
it
pre-built
after.
excuses. You're right.
They do. When you'll see it happens when they think they actually have a winner and it flops, then they'll lash out, and but not as harsh. They'll lash out and they just kind of hope it goes away.
Right.
If they think they had a winner, it flops. They don't have the same sort of visceral reaction. When they have an absolute piece of shit on their hands and they recognize it and they're like, well, fuck, we are not going to get the money to fix this. We can't just bury it. We're going to have to release it. Shit. I got it. And they've come up with the pre-skews.
Now, they're making these characters this way, but also they don't have access to every single Tolkien character, right?
No, they don't.
So, like, there's characters in Lord of the Rings, that Peter Jackson's series, that would have been around for whatever prequel that's going on. I don't know. There's ages and stuff like that, and so they can't use those characters, correct?
They can use some of the characters, but because they even took some of the characters that were supposed to be in the Peter Jackson movies, and they done either race or gender swap them. And so it's weird. It's kind of like, how could that person be that person if in the Peter Jackson movies, they're literally another race or another gender? So it kind of makes absolutely no sense why they're doing it.
And also with those deals, it's kind of like that Star Trek deal where you can use Captain Kirk, but he has to be younger and he has to wear different clothing. It's just like this with this deal too. And that's why you have Lady Galadriel, instead of her being a peaceful sage, wisdom type of woman, a type of elf, she's a warrior woman instead, like Xena. Stupid stuff like that that's really destroying the legacy of Tolkien.
All right, now hold on one second. When the original Lord of the Rings movies got made, they obviously had to cut stuff because even as many hours as they had, they couldn't include everything.
Thankfully, they cut
there was
Tom Bombadil, the worst thing in the
most
history
especially
of books.
For sure. But different characters had to do different things, or what the Liv Tyler one and all that stuff.
Yeah.
There was a small schism of people that were like Tolkien lore people. And then the other people that were Tolkien lore people were like, we're not going to get a movie if we don't accept this stuff. So, maybe Lord of the Rings of Power stuff, I'm personally, I like Lord of the Rings and I like Tolkien's stories, but I don't like reading his stuff at all. And I sure as shit ain't going to ever read the Silmarillion. So
you don't like reading his books?
No, God, he's a horrible writer.
What? I mean, he's not for everyone, Jay.
He's a horrible writer. I'm going to just let you know right now.
Me to
a
death.
lot of people in science fiction and fantasy, and he was like in the early, and he's not even really a writer. He's like a scholar. He's a linguistics guy. Don't write well. And,
He's more of a
but they're
theologian,
fantastic stories that you want to
Bro,
know.
I read The Hobbit in 2 days, and I'm not even a reader like that.
Look, The Hobbit is just a kid's story. and then you have Lord of the Rings, which are a bore fest. When a person, like, we're going to get a comic book coming up, and R.L. Stein's like, this is going to scare you adults. It's for you. And I'm like, oh, this should be interesting, because usually a kid's writer going and doing something for adults, it don't work, you know?
No.
I mean,
my kid liked the Goosebumps movie.
Sure thing.
Man,
sure
that movie was crappy. But look, I see what you're saying. I honestly believe.
But I don't want to read the Silmarillion, so this is the only way I'm going to ever get this. You know what I mean?
I understand that, but the Silmarillions and the first age and the second age, that's something that you can't take lightly. I mean, it's almost impossible to make a movie or a live action like this. This right here, what we're getting is just a and I wouldn't even say a fan fiction. It's just made up agenda crap.
Yeah. It's a perversion, Fatal.
Well, I mean, as long as they're going to be perverting the source material, they might as well throw in a couple women and black people too, right?
I mean, it's weird, because if you're going to call it a prequel series to the movies, and then some of the characters that are supposed to show up in the movie are literally another race, and then on top of that, think about it.
That is odd.
So what happened at the end of the prequel series? So did a genocide happen because all of the main characters in the Lord of the Rings are white?
Right.
So how are you going to explain what happened to all of the people of color and female that you
what they need?
Series.
Never mind.
Yeah.
That would totally
absolutely
deep all the time.
Don't need to see it.
If they put me
Hobbit mustache man.
If they put me over this project, they said, Fatal J, we want you to make a first age, second age,
you're a shield if they put you on there, so that they don't put any black people in there.
This is what I would do. I definitely wouldn't put any black, even though it is black people in the universe.
You would be a shield for that, is what I'm saying.
I would turn it into an animation. Like and put millions
and
into
then you'd
animation.
be fired right there.
I'm not gonna lie, if it was me, all of the characters that he's supposed to say that are prequel versions of the characters, I would just name them something different, and then towards the end of the prequel series, genocide happens. Yeah, that's it. That's the only way we're going to be able to. We're going to have a Lord, forgive me for saying this. We're going to have an elf version of Adolf Hitler, and he's going to kill all of the females and black elves. And so when Lord of the Rings start up, that's why everybody's white, because they had a dictator that killed all the people, and then the last of the white elves and white hobbits teamed up and killed them, and then bam, there you go, Lord of the Rings. Look, that's the only way.
That's why no one ever gave you $1 billion to make something.
I mean,
and we're gonna finish our show with Nazi hobbits.
Yeah, I mean, let's stop with that talk. That's gonna get us flagged, even if we didn't mean anything.
But this is the thing. This is what he's saying in a nutshell.
I know what he's saying.
You make black hobbits, but then when you get to the third age, there's no more black hobbits. You got black elves.
How are you gonna explain that?
Well,
there's no black elves in the third age.
The hobbits themselves are secluded. We only see like one village of them. Really.
No, he describes their skin tone in the book.
I understand that part, and I'm with you. I think
that's how detailed he was.
With something that is fleshed out like Middle Earth and the ages from Tolkien himself. It's so fleshed out you can't take liberties. Is the real problem because people are going to be able to punch holes all through your work,
guys,
and expose themselves.
And that's
guys.
Look, if it was original, it could work.
Where are the gay people in this program? That's
the
important
well, they're coming apparently, but also we're asking these questions about how they race swapped and gender swapped. Just ask Michael Jackson and Caitlyn Jenner. Jesus, come on.
Hey, I'm just gonna go with my usual fuck your hobbits because I don't give a shit.
Well, I thought it was
a
enlightening conversation, though. You should clip this, Wes.
No. I can still laugh and make fun of this stupid shit.
This is going to be an exciting train wreck. Like this is going to
cancel me and Jay. They are going to cancel us.
If you ever wanted to see $1 billion train wreck, September 2nd is going to be $1 billion train wreck. People are going to enjoy watching the show burn. So
they're going to hate watch it and enjoy making fun of it.
I think the first episode is probably going to have high ratings because everybody's going to want to see the train wreck. And then after that, we're done.
Yeah, Yeah, it's just material for videos and memes and stuff. You know?
And then the YouTube videos are going to make more than the actual show itself. And then there are going to be shields that are going to be like, you guys just hate females and black people. And if they bring some LGBT people, they're going to be like, you hate LGBT people. Of course we do. That's the same thing they always say.
I just want to know where the Asian elves are.
I think they're
probably out there somewhere.
Yeah, they're in there.
Sure. They'll probably be there in season 2.
They'll make.
Well, I think they've already done season 2. Actually, I think they recorded all of it. The first 2.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it's all.
That's
done.
exciting. At least if it's all.
Yeah,
done.
that's why it cost $1 billion to 500 million.
Now, how can I resist?
I'm not even.
I actually had a lady call out and say that the only reason I had an issue like with the thing they're doing with Namor was because I was a racist. I said, well, I was like, I'm a terrible racist. You know, I'm married to a minority. I live in a country with no white people. And she said, ha, that's just my best friend is black logic. I was like, I don't know, man. Marriage seems a little bit more than that.
I get that all the time. I get that all the time.
Hey, everybody quit racisting wrong.
It's like
there's
you think I married my wife?
There's no one way to be a racist, Doc.
Like, so I could argue this? Like, what a weird comment.
If you look at the Third Age map of Middle Earth, Tolkien put it right there in your face. It's Europe. Africa is at the bottom. Asia is on the eastern side. Yeah, he put it there.
Hey,
it's
like
there.
literally was telling you, like,
fuck Americans.
I got a really good suggestion for everybody.
Oh,
don't hate watch stupid shit because it still gives them ratings because they don't know you're hate watching it. They just know you're watching it.
Well, it's already been review bombed, right, or something like that.
Oh yeah,
that was
She-Hulk.
Oh, She-Hulk. I'm sorry.
She-Hulk.
They have to actually have an episode come out to review bomb it.
Yeah, before you can start doing the fan reviews. You can do critics beforehand if you're approved or whatever.
I see. Gotcha.
What a mess that show is.
Doc, you're still reading X-Men comics. I don't want to hear from you, sir.
Wait, you still read it? Wait, only because of you.
For years.
Most of the reason why I'm still reading it is because I'm still doing a show with you.
Well, that's unfortunate for you.
Isn't that what the Judgment Day stuff is happening with the Avengers and
the
Eternals and
Eternals?
Yes.
Shit, I almost said it in Humans. I'm sorry, the Eternals. And I feel like I feel like what's going to happen at the end of that thing is that they're going to have a protocol where now we can bring back all the Avengers that ever died. And I tell you, all the old Avenger characters that we never saw for a long time are now going to also be able to be resurrected or something like that because we need more Avengers stories to tell.
Well, we need Uncle Ben back in the world, apparently.
Yeah, maybe. You know, Bill Foster can come back.
Just bring everyone. Everyone, everywhere from any time will all exist on Earth at the same time. And then the Earth, I don't know, it gets too heavy and falls out of the sky. I don't fucking know.
All right, fellas, we do have some people that chimed in. Let's get to these super chats.
Real quick, let me say something before we end this topic because just
every time, Fatal J.
I know, man. I'm sorry. Look, from Tolkien heads, this has been something that Tolkien people have really been looking forward to for years to see the First Age and the Second Age in an adaptation. The best stories from Tolkien come from the First Age and Second Age, and this is all we're getting ever. This is the only thing we're going to ever get, and it's destroyed.
No, well, Mr. DC Comics goes back to the conversation we were having before. He says, Zack Snyder's Justice League had Steppenwolf slinging Amazon horses like a home run. The Flash scene easily stood out over Endgame action scenes.
DC Comics, you didn't like that?
No, he's saying that they were
saying
good
it was better.
They were good.
Oh, okay.
I'm starting to question Mr. DC Comics' sanity here, but
I mean that Flash scene was pretty cool, though. I mean, it was pretty cool. I'm not gonna sit up here and lie, even though I don't like Ezra, but Zack kind of made him more bearable than Whedon did, because oh god, in that. What Witch's lead or whatever, Justice lead or whatever. It was God. No,
the Justice lead. What?
No,
Wes, you would love to hear this from me, and I always admitted it. I never did like Ezra Miller as Flash, and I never did like the guy that played Lex Luthor.
No, yeah, the Jesse Eisenberg.
I don't know.
Jesse Eisenberg. Really strange.
Hey,
wait a second.
Riddler. Didn't Amazon already ruined the Wheel of Time series?
Yes,
too?
they did.
Yeah, they did.
Okay, so look, they're par for the course.
Yeah, but
the
they
only
did
thing
Invincible.
hey, look, they
People
did
like The Man in the High Tower, or is it
There
High
you go.
Castle?
Man in the High
Whatever.
Castle did all right.
Invincible was cool except for Amber.
But Man in the High Castle was like
They
what,
kinda
8
screwed it up,
years,
sir.
almost 10 years ago that it started.
They actually got a
Invincible-
really good Tom Clancy show as well.
The Jack Ryan show wasn't
Yeah.
bad. The Terminalist is good.
Invincible.
Invincible and The Boys, all of which I believe the estates, in the case of Clancy, and the actual creators, in the case of Garth Ennis and Robert Kirkman, are heavily involved.
Right.
All right, Doc. This is what Common Sense has to say. Amazon should lend money to Paper Girls instead of wasting it to make Rings of Power. Paper Girls is okay. 6 out of 10. Co-writers deserve more money than Cantwell. Doc,
What's
you're a big
Cantwell
Christopher
doing?
Cantwell, right? Man,
Yeah,
right?
love the guy.
I don't.
Well, hopefully
I don't
he
know
looks
anything
like
about
he's getting
Paper
more
Girls.
Hollywood jobs, Doc. So maybe he'll stop
Good.
writing
He can
comic
go
books.
back to making another mediocre AMC show. I don't really care.
And then he'll be
Just
back
get
involved.
out.
Or he'll do a Batman one shot or miniseries.
Oh yeah,
for
you know that
DC.
guy's gonna be writing Batman before you know
Oh
it.
yeah. Or
Every bad writer at Marvel ends up headlining at DC. I don't get it.
Yeah.
They love taking
well,
their.
we can make him.
They love
it's
taking
not-
their big brother sloppies.
Yeah, well,
Sloppy
it's like,
seconds.
maybe it's like John Romita Jr. going over and doing DC didn't really work out. He's back at Marvel and it feels a lot, and
Feels
he
better
feels
there.
revitalized a bit.
Yeah,
We'll give you that.
but I'm
Yeah,
not gonna lie. I
Alec
never feel like
says-
it.
With the Rings of Power, instead of changing everything in this lore, why not create your own fantasy world to have a diverse elves and dwarves, etc.? People have created fantasy worlds with diverse versions of elves and dwarves
Yeah.
and whatnot.
They
They
don't-
just aren't as well known as Lord of
Yeah.
the Rings and Tolkien's work.
Yeah, they rather do that than put time and effort into something that's not well known. Which the stuff that they're doing with Ring of Power, I'm like, all of this stuff is more original than the Tolkien stuff. You might as well had just called this something new, and I'm quite sure it would have got the love and attention. Like, how
Yeah,
do
it
you
wouldn't
think
have that
Tolkien-
brand name associated with it.
Yeah.
There are lots and lots of epic fantasy worlds that are very fleshed out where you can do a lot of things. Like even Shannara, which is definitely the first book is definitely a ripoff of the Lord of the Rings, but then it veers off in a new direction. That's not as beloved as Tolkien's work. You could have taken that and taken a lot of liberties with it. You're
I
basically
agree.
working in almost the same universe with some differences here and there, and people wouldn't have got upset.
Yeah.
And it's
I
you know
think that would've
obviously
been great.
MTV did the Shannara series. I think.
Well, it doesn't have the like you said, it doesn't have the mass love for
Mhm.
it. There will be people out there that be like, oh, they've ruined Shannara, and then they
Yeah,
should really
man.
look in a mirror.
The
Who cares? You're lucky you're getting this, buddy.
Hollywood
But-
Hollywood will never effectively do anything, an adaptation of something with fleshed out lore, because
I
their
agree.
egos won't allow them. They have to fuck it up because they
Well-
have to put they just have to put their own
Look,
twist on it.
it's like
They
these
don't want to be
superhero
stenographers.
movies. I expect everything I like about the character to be like, destroyed by the end of the film. Someone knows their secret identity and they do something they're not supposed to do, or they change the history, or just the overall, actions of the character. And, they're going to change the costume. These are
Great
all things
expectation.
that I expect, and I can't get worked up too much about it anymore just because of that stuff. But is the story good enough? Is it something I actually even want to watch? Is where I come down when it, But I love being nitpicky about the stuff I like, but after a while, it's just you have to grow to expect it, and you can make a video about it for sure, Jay. I want you to do that.
Eric O'Sullivan, the Sultan of Soup himself, contributor to the channel, bounding into Comics News reported on a race-swapped Aragon in the upcoming Magic the Gathering tabletop Lord of the Rings set RPG. Our goal is a modern take on the work of J.R.R. Tolkien. I think that's the
Okay.
problem, Josh. Nobody wants a modern take on J.R.R. Tolkien. They want true Tolkien work.
Yeah, I mean, I think kind of what Jay has been referring to, though, they could have done it better. Like if you and I get it. Like, no production company is going to get away with not having, people of minority or diversity in their stuff. But had they gone about it properly and just been like, hey, we know this isn't in the lore for this story, but we're going to acknowledge that this race of elves is out there, that this, if they would have acknowledged it and included it somewhere like that, I think it would have worked. But when you
they could have said, we understand your concerns and your love for, we feel the same way, and we want our show to speak for itself, and we think that you're going to find this to be a good interpretation of Middle Earth, but we can't wait to hear your feedback.
Yeah.
See the show come out.
We're unfortunately not going to get that, though, because even historical films right now are doing, like Mary Queen of Scots had Black people in high authority positions. Like
they did the same thing with Vikings.
Yeah.
And they made Anne Boleyn black.
You saw Anne Boleyn, and then they were surprised that it failed. They were like, we don't know why people didn't watch it. Oh, really? Well,
they did the same thing with, like, even West Side Story, which is more like a modern tale. It's like, just call it something else. You could do something inspired by that. Put a new name on it. And people are going to realize, that is West Side Story. That's Romeo and Juliet, but converted for a more modern take.
But that won't get them the ability to wear something as a skin suit and trade on its name.
It probably won't get greenlit without the brand name associated with it.
Not only that, but it won't get it. They look at it as, well, we can't have success unless we're wearing something else that someone else made popular, like a fucking skin suit, like we're goddamn Buffalo Bill.
Or Moira McTaggart.
Or Moira McTaggart.
Goblin Set says, I say again, either not watch the Rings of Power or go find other fantasy stories. Scales and Scoundrels have established black characters in their stories. Yeah, you got all these worlds to come with. They paid for the brand of Tolkien, but they didn't want the fan base that came along with it. Or at least they wanted the fan base, but they didn't want their feedback.
They do that all the time. They want the recognition, and they want the fame, and they want the popularity, but they don't want the fans for some god reason. So then why did you buy the stuff? You knew you were going to have to take the fans. You have to take the fans. You can't just separate it. That's not how this works.
Yeah.
Because if the fans didn't do it, you wouldn't have enough money to buy it. It wouldn't be worth billions of dollars if the fans didn't put time and effort and money into reading and buying everything Lord of the Rings.
Well, another thing is, like, that is the one people are going to go and read if they're going to read it. And
the first super
you don't go to the you cut your teeth on it, Hobbit and whatnot. But there are other fantasies that have tried to do the progressive work that people think only is going on now. Then whether it's just, hey, there's a character that's black in here. Oh my God, there's a female lead. Heaven forbid. And
it's been
going on since the 80s.
Speaking for black people out there, they act like when we watch the trailer, oh, it's black people in this. Yeah, I have to watch it.
They do. They do.
They do the same with gay people as well.
To scream and be like, hallelujah, gay people.
Well, maybe they should have those in the beginning of a Tyler Perry movie, and we can see how everybody reacts.
That would be right.
That would be good. Oh my God!
Oh my God! It's black people in a Tyler Perry movie.
This is what Kenneth Dalek says. He says, Wes, you may be the only one interested in this, but tomorrow House of Dragons premieres. Ooh. This show is getting more positive feedback than Rings of Power. Are you going to watch it? So I do have HBO Go, which is our knockoff version of HBO Max. I believe House of Dragon is going to be on there. I've watched every episode of the original series, the Song of Fire and Ice. Game of Thrones adaptation. It was great for 5 seasons. It just didn't nail the landing. So I am going to check it out because I'm interested, and I am going to watch the Rings of Power because we have Amazon Prime as well. It came with my wife's cell phone.
You're going to do reviews? You're going to do reviews of House of the Dragon? I'm thinking about doing reviews of House of the Dragon.
I'm probably not going to do a review.
No. Oh, okay.
It all depends. They say they're going to have like a Red Wedding style moment in the first episode, which I think is strange. Because how can you have the Red Wedding impact if you haven't grown to love the characters yet? Yep. That's why the moment was so powerful. Because oh my God, I can't believe they would do this like to these characters that I've grown to love over 3 years. It's like if you throw it out in the first episode, it's like
it ain't gonna hit as hard.
Yeah.
That Red Wedding messed me up.
Yeah.
The only way you can make that happen is if you set your first episode up following characters as your leads, and then that final scene you just kill off and be like, psych.
Yeah, if it was a sequel and you were seeing some of
Yeah.
the characters like a Jon Snow or something that you've already had an attachment to, but this is 200 years prequel. So we'll see how it happens. It sounds like there's going to be some exciting events, at least in the first episode. But I do plan on watching it. I'm gonna watch the Rings of Power as well. I don't have Disney Plus. We can't get that here. That's why I haven't watched She-Hulk yet.
Hold on.
You're not missing much. You're not missing much.
I love what CW Trixie said down here. Tyler Perry presents Medea's Adventure in Middle Earth. Where that ring be at?
Now I'll watch that.
That can be funny.
I would. That would be so cool. Actually, that would be amazing. Actually.
All right, so I do want to say we are at I think over 180 likes so far. I want to get over 200 before the video's over. We're almost at 300 people live. We've had over 300 people, I think, for an hour and a half. So if you can give us a thumbs up, we would definitely appreciate that. We are going to be on for a little bit longer than normal because I've already done my recordings that I would normally do after this. But definitely see if we can get up to 200. Common Sense says Doc is right. I'm so tired of that saying. Don't hate watch that. That's how they get popular. Man, you don't hate watch past the first issue.
I'm not being a hate
troll
watcher.
Sometimes.
I'm not being a hate watcher. I consider myself as a journalist, a video journalist.
I'm doing a public service. I'm with you, Fan J.
Yeah,
that's why I read stuff like One Bad Day Riddler.
Oh, God.
So you don't have to.
Yeah.
I can report on it.
Hey, we gotta do our Lois Lane duties around here in these parts.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Kenneth
We gotta
Dowling
get to
says,
225 now.
Wes, I wanted to tell you on the villain I'm working on, you were right. Well, thankfully I was right about something. Killer Kelly does sound better. I don't want your name to be associated with a serial killer. You're a good man, and I mean that. Well, thank you very much. I don't want to be associated with serial killers, although there's probably one out there named Wes somewhere.
Right.
But I still got Wes Welker, you know what I mean?
Watch
guy
out
from,
from want to skip the rest.
But Killer Kelly does have a nice ring to it. It's
It
like
does.
one of those Stan Lee names, you know what I mean? Got to have the same letter on the first last name. Right? Isn't he the one that did that? But I hope your comic book is going well, and I wish you the best of luck, and I can't wait to read it, sir. Ideator says, escapism is dead. You can't have an all-white cast, or you're racist. You can't have a vulnerable woman, which reflects norms, or you're sexist. Creative decisions are being made by children. Adults are needed.
Agreed.
Yeah. Are we not allowed to see a Hispanic family melodrama anymore? That you have to have a diverse cast. Same thing with a Black experience. Whose experience is everybody's experience, and same thing with white and Asian and so on and so forth. Are we never going to see these kinds of stories ever again, or is it only those type of stories that are allowed to be told?
I'm just waiting.
Where's art?
I'm waiting for like 10 to 15 years from now when they do another like 12 years a slave, but you got the white slaves mixed in there because we got to be diverse.
Well, it'd be ridiculous not to.
Oh yeah, and that reminds me, since y'all said they said the the prequel to Game of Thrones going to have a red style wedding. If most of those people are diverse, we're never going to hear the end of it. So you guys hate diverse people. You killed everyone. I'm like, oh God. Oh Jesus.
They've definitely changed up a few things for the prequel series on people or houses that we've heard of, but we never saw because they were dead already. Essentially, yeah. I know they've switched some things up specifically. I think with Valeria, which certainly is something you would have heard of, but we never actually saw other than that dead city where all the stone men were. I think that was where the castle for Valeria was. But I'm with the Ideator. It becomes frustrating. It's like, can't we just try and tell the best story possible without trying to appease everybody? Josh, you were in Hollywood. You were a writer. Is this something that's just been creeping in? Is this a mandate, or is it kind of new?
I mean, it's something that kind of started creeping in even when I was out there, but it's definitely mandates now. Like they definitely have. If you go into like as far as casting, they're setting, in some cases they're actually setting percentages of what they expect to see. And my thing is like, look, I'm all for diversity. We do need to have good representation. But it needs to be it needs to be good representation. If you're doing something historical, make it as historically accurate as possible. Make sure it makes sense for the character. Don't just throw shit in there for the sake of throwing shit in there, because at the end of the day, whatever group you're trying to appease, they're not going to be happy because you just kind of like made a two-dimensional, like, here you go, let's pat ourselves on the back. But it's been slowly sinking in for a while.
Hey,
Kenneth,
never mind.
Kenneth Dowling says, great show, guys. Have a great week. Wes, if you want a panel to talk House of Dragons, I'm there. Peace. I'll look into it. We'll see what happens with the first episode and everything, and perhaps we'll cover it. But I wasn't planning on it, but maybe I need to give that one a shot. Maybe we'll
Somebody
talk about
said
the,
this was like, somebody said the House of Dragon is like one of the greatest stories, like from the past.
Mm-hmm.
Is that true?
Well, it's a story they really haven't told.
I mean, I couldn't tell you, honestly, because
I mean, I'm familiar with the show, but I'm not familiar with the books. And somebody said this was like, huh?
There are
It's
no
like a
books
book of history that he wrote.
yeah, and they're going to just try to flesh it out from.
Yeah, I think that's what he's going to
Oh,
do.
so this was not a book, House of
No.
Dragons?
It's a
No.
book.
It's
not written like Game of Thrones. Sorry,
It's basically an encyclopedia.
It's the same. It's a bunch of the same creatives that fucked up the last couple of seasons of the show because they went beyond what he had written that everybody hated, and now you're going to watch them do shit that is that's created from whole cloth. Good fucking luck.
Well,
gonna
yeah,
be a
there's like
disaster.
5 shows that they're planning on. We'll see if this one doesn't work. I imagine we're not going to see a lot of those, like the Adventures of Dunk and Egg, which are short stories that they're going to flesh out. And stuff.
so those would be awesome.
Yeah,
The
those
showrunners,
are great.
the showrunners that did season 8 of Game of Thrones, are they a part of this?
It was Benioff and was the other one.
Benioff and Weiss?
Yeah, I don't think that they're
I
doing this one.
I don't
Oh,
think
thank
they
God.
lost everything. They lost everything after the
Thank God. Thank
season
God.
8
Their
dropped.
whole careers.
All of their movies and shows were like plucked from. They were like, oh no,
Yeah, they're
no,
supposed to do a Star Wars movie too.
They
Yeah, they were
said
supposed
no.
to do Star Wars, yeah.
Hollywood said no.
Sigma Comics, we got HH German in the house. For whatever reason, my phone is not allowing me to post the chat. I want to send it via Super Chat, so I'm going to send it through regular. Oh, it's right here. Did I miss
thank
it?
you
Let
so
me see if I
much.
can find. He's going to be at a con somewhere. I'm not sure which con he was at this weekend. Last weekend would have been Boston Fan
I hate I
Expo.
missed
Before
that
would've been
anime con.
C2E2.
I hate I missed that anime con in Houston, Josh. We have any more Texas cons coming up?
But I did see that the Sultan of Soup himself, Eric O'Sullivan, found the Sigma Comics booth at Boston Fan Expo. And it looked like he might have bought one of those comic books. So I think he had a good time.
Dude, he was all up in there.
Absolutely. So thank you very much for supporting the channel. I'm sorry I'm not seeing the follow-up message, but there are like several thousands of messages.
What
Kind of
book
difficult to
is
do.
Sigma Comics involved with again?
Here Comes the Calico.
There you go.
Absolutely. I believe the next one's going to be coming out somewhat soon. And
Shout
it's
out
going
to
to
Sigma
be in your
Comics.
comic book stores. I think it's going through Lunar, maybe? I might have
Oh,
that one.
really?
I thought so.
All right, I'll look out for that.
Um,
That makes it so much
I just
easier
saw
for
the
me when I
nude
don't
bot
have to
again.
think.
Then
Yeah.
it disappeared. All right, good. Biggie Steve says there is an anime called Gate about a 20th century army versus a Lord of the Rings type army. Check it out, fellas. You will love it. Should be
Man,
live
that
action.
sounds dope.
Hold on, let me add it to the list of stuff everybody want me to watch.
Is that on Netflix?
It's just-
Where's that one on? There's so many different streaming platforms.
that's what
now,
I
it's
that's
insane.
what I've learned ever since I got a YouTube. Like, there's a list of things you have to watch.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but make sure you do what you want to do for because that's important.
Oh no, it's
Eric-
not bad. It's just that people were just saying.
Yeah.
Eric
even
O'Sullivan
still.
says HH gave me 5 issues of Here Comes Calico. I tried to pay him. He wasn't having it. I'm reading them over lunch after the show. Well, there you go. That sounds absolutely amazing. It sounds like you had a good encounter with old HH Durbin and the guys from Sigma Comics at Boston Fan Expo. So I'm glad that was a fun experience for you. Dylan Lindsay says they should have just brought the rights to put Dungeons and Dragons into the title. You have a massive brand recognition and you can make your own world and it all fits.
Dude, we're
I'm
getting
sure
a
Dungeons and
D&D
Dragons
movie.
is already been bought and paid for many times.
Yeah. And Marlon Wayans is going to be in it again.
Is he really?
No, did
No,
y'all
really?
see the real
No.
trailer? Did y'all see the trailer though for the?
No, I
Dungeons
don't
and
watch
It's the
trailers.
one
if I
with
can
Chris
help
it
it.
looks-
Bad.
It looks
Oh, I
horrible.
don't. No, it's going to be great.
No,
Agreed.
it's not.
See it.
No, it's not.
Man.
No, it's not.
How did I miss this, guys? He's at Emerald City Comic Con. I didn't realize it was this weekend.
Oh.
No,
I didn't know it was either.
I'm still friends with Dylan, but he hadn't mentioned that one. But Perch doesn't live up there anymore. So he's at Emerald City Comic Con. This Fiasco is akin to painting restorations by amateurs in Spain gone bad, forever changing it for the worse. Google it. Oh, that painting is the one done by the church. That was rough. And Gabe's review of Here Comes Calico coming. So we should get that very, very soon. If you're at Emerald City Comic Con, definitely go out and support Sigma Comics and HH. Go meet him and see if he can sell you on a comic book. I bet he's got the goods. And that's
give him the money because he obviously doesn't.
Yeah, make him take it.
Jesus,
put a lot of hard work on that. When he's traveling around the country, make him take the money. The doctor says watch episode 1 and skip the rest. That's the way they fail. And I can't blame marketing. It needs to fail because they know everyone quit after one episode.
All right, I like that, Doc. That's like that's our shield from the racist and gender and misogynist comments.
Oh no, they'll still make that argument, but
I gave it the first episode.
I gave it one
I'm
episode.
not that way.
It just your show sucked.
What people say, they'd be like, no, you have to watch the whole thing in order to make a form opinion.
Now you sound like an AEW fan.
I'm like, no,
listen, buddy, don't talk about AEW fans, right? Miro is where it's at.
Someone asked you what shirt is he wearing now?
Oh, it's a Doctor Strange. What? Yeah,
Beautiful.
Frank Bruner.
Very nice, sir. Mr. DC Comics, looking forward to Cobra Kai Season 5, September 9th.
Hell yeah.
I like Cobra Kai.
Let's go.
My only issue with Cobra Kai is it was clear that Daniel was the bad guy. He was the villain in the first season. I don't think that was supposed to happen, so they've been trying to overcorrect to make him one of the good guys. Along with it, I wish they just would have left him the bad guy. I liked it better when he became like an asshole.
Yeah, because Johnny was the hero.
Yes.
I
like
that.
Johnny.
Yeah, the
Like
whole,
the way he
the whole
talks to the
story
kids.
is an underdog story. It wasn't the original, and now it is now. Their roles got
They kind of overcorrected a little bit, but I think it's funny
still
that the
good,
entire city, in California is just like revolving around these two karate schools.
Yeah.
Like, it's that influential.
Because nobody really cares.
I mean, it's Hidden Valley after all.
The best part
Karate
is
wasn't like really up after that movie, just to let everybody know.
Like that one dude attempted murder and stuff. I guess he was in jail, right? When he threw him over the rail and almost murdered him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No, they didn't really overcorrect because Daniel's still a douchebag. Johnny's just giving him more chances.
I just think they didn't want him to be just known as a villain, so they've tried to
wife too. Like his wife is like, look, Daniel, you can't. You're going too far.
You're being a bitch.
Yeah, pretty much. But I'm not gonna lie. I need another fight scene from the school again because that season 2 fight was
my
amazing.
favorite part of the entire Cobra Kai is in the first season when Johnny's explaining the incident at the dance from his perspective.
Yeah,
where actually Daniel was the one that attacked me. He poured water all over me.
I was right about to say that.
To do?
Yeah,
I was like, he's right. That guy was an asshole.
Yes,
Daniel
when you look at it in retrospect, he was a douchebag.
Daniel was the bully the whole time. He was the bully.
I love that part.
Yeah.
Because Daniel did come out of nowhere and like took his fire from him, especially in martial arts. It's like, wait, hold on, what?
Yeah.
Roddy Boy Comics right here, the PI says, thanks for another entertaining conversation. Well, I hope you're enjoying it. I know it's late up here. We're past midnight here in the Philippines. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, Roddy Boy. Kenneth Dowling says, Badal J, Benioff, Weiss, writers of Game of Thrones are not involved in House of Dragons. This is entirely G.R.R. Martin's idea. He still hasn't finished all the books yet.
I was just about to
never
ask
finished
that,
the
too.
books.
I was just about to ask that. I was about to say, has he finished those last 2 books?
He
did
never
a Vanity Fair.
I think he's got 3 more to go.
No, it's
3
2.
more.
Is it
It's 2.
Those 2? Oh.
He did a Vanity Fair article where he was like, I think it's kind of morbid that people are hoping I finish these books before I die.
Well, that's because he's
the one that said
his fat ass is gonna die.
I said
he finishes the book.
I said, fans are wondering when he's going to die. Fans are wondering when Brandon Sanderson's going to finish these books. That's what it is.
Yeah. Well, he also said that if he died before it was finished, no one was going to finish it for him, right? Wasn't that?
Yeah, right. It's already finished in everybody's heads.
I think it's just been kind
That
of like
television program ruined it. It's all there is to it. You know,
I mean,
I don't.
that TV show
I
was
can't
pretty
ever
good. It's,
care. I can't
Josh,
ever care
you
what he
haven't
writes
seen
about.
Game of Thrones yet, right?
Every time he writes a food scene in one of his books going forward, I don't care. It's like X. Get that out of here.
Correct. I'm one of those.
What happened to your microphone?
It sounds better.
My microphone. Well,
Loud.
I'm sitting closer. I kept muting because my neighbors decided to start mowing right next to my window.
happens.
So,
Josh, could I interest you in Game of Thrones if I told you there was some man bush in there?
hell yeah!
There's
That's
some
why
doc-
I watch for the plot.
Hey, if you like that, the Pam and Tommy show had some full frontal of Sebastian Stan.
I'm joking. I don't.
Oh,
I've
that's not what
known.
you're looking
I've known
in your
for
TV
years
programming?
that. What was the Stars kind of like gladiator show? Spartacus. I've known for years that Spartacus had a ton of dong in it. I still haven't watched it.
I haven't watched it either.
But Spartacus is a good show, though.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not
Spartacus is
opposed
This
to
dope.
guy
it.
dies after the
So-
first season, and they have to do like a
Oh yeah,
flashback or something.
they have to replace him because the actor died of cancer.
Yeah.
You know, hey Marvel, do what Spartacus did. Recast.
That's odd.
Jesus Christ.
Once again, Leonardo DiCaprio.
All right, folks, let's see if we can get one or two more topics in before we wrap this up. I do want to talk about One Bad Day, the Riddler with Josh. Tom King has said he wants this to be the killing joke for the Riddler. Did he accomplish that?
Fuck no, he didn't accomplish that. Tom King has had this like hard on for trying to make the Riddler this just like total badass sociopathic murderer since he got his hands on him. Scott Snyder kind of started this in the New 52, but I don't know what Tom King's deal is, but he's like got this just like thing to like I'm gonna make a Riddler the villain. And I'm like, this is why you shouldn't be writing books. Like, you are so fucking out of the loop.
Didn't he already do that with Kite Man?
Yeah.
I mean, I think he tried to just make Kite Man not so much of a joke. And I kind of appreciated the way he approached Kite Man. I liked the tongue-in-cheek Charles Brown name. Like, I liked that. But, like, if you go back to the War of Jokes and Riddles, like, that, you know, I started seeing cracks in Tom King's Batman in the second arc, I Am Suicide. And then for me, I Am Bane, it's really started falling apart. And Jokes and Riddles just, like, pissed on everything. But,
it was the year zero year.
yeah,
of,
I'm just
Batman.
like, fucking A.
Is that what
like,
it was called? 0 year?
yeah, it was 0
That
year.
was the Riddler also, wasn't it?
Yeah, it
Well,
was.
that was Snyder. 0 year.
I
was
know,
Snyder.
but it
But he
was the
wasn't called
Riddler.
the Riddler.
The
at
Riddler
the time. He was called
sucks.
Enigma.
Oh, agreed.
He
you
was
know,
called Enigma at the time.
Like, I'm fine if you want Riddler to be this smart guy that sets up things that are hard to solve, but the fact that he's just this like cold-blooded murderer now, to me, it's not the character. It's not who he is. Yeah, I don't know. Tom King's trying so hard to make something so important and so memorable for a run, and he's just trying way too hard.
It's I don't know, man. It's like I'm here to revitalize the revitalizable.
Yeah, well, and he basically retcons the killing joke in this book, which really pisses me off because now the Riddler is the mastermind behind what the Joker did, and I'm just like,
Yeah, he
what?
did,
Burn it,
yeah.
fucking burn it to the ground.
Really?
Yeah, he did.
I haven't read it.
He basically was like, have you ever wondered why the Joker knew where you were at and your daughter?
Oh,
my
you know what would be
God.
awesome?
Oh,
Are they
fuck
gonna
off.
do? Are they gonna do like the real estate agent that let him know that the carnival was up for sale? 'Cause that would be a great issue.
And you know what, Josh? It's Tom King was watching the Batman Hush movie too, because remember they tried to make him.
I was
more
thinking
important
that
than anything, and I was like, get out of here with that. The
the
Riddler,
Riddler was Hush.
God,
Yeah,
Jesus,
it's terrible.
Jesus Christ. And it
Tom
was
King.
suggested that the Riddler also, his father was not only mentally but physically abusive too, and sexually abusive too. Because when he had that panel, he was like, "Yes, Daddy, I've been a bad boy." I'm like, "Bruh, what is this? What is this?"
Tom
What is
King has an enormous inferiority complex, and he just feels absolutely compelled, like, well, I need to do better than this thing. And then he fails, and then he moves to the next thing. Well, I need to do better than this iconic storyline about this character, and then he fails. He just needs he needs somebody to say you did the best of anything, and the best he got was fucking Kite Man. So good job. There you go, Tom King. Consider yourself a success. You made Kite Man not a complete joke. The end.
Oh, and another thing with the Tom King thing is a lot of apparently the panel from Catwoman knocking out all 3 of the Flashes is going around social media. Everybody was like, "What the fuck is this?" They were like, "Wait, what is this?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, that's from when Tom King had Catwoman knock all 3 of the Flashes out." They were like, "How?" Like people are now upset at this panel, and it's just like this panel's been out for a long time. This is the writer that you guys love so much, Tom King. He wrote that. They were like, "No, that's not how that works." No, and I was like, that's what he wrote though. That's the guy that DC chose to write Batman, and you wonder why a lot of us don't like Batman. I mean, didn't like the Batman book. The fact that he even made Batman fall out the top 10 when he started writing it, it was kind of like that's got to say something about a person. But yeah,
maybe Tom King kind of feels typecast also because he did the Vision for Marvel. And it was like, wow, this is a revelation. And of course, it's the Vision, so who cares?
Yeah.
And he does this. Miracle. Pardon me?
He didn't, and then he do the Mr. Miracle one too.
And it was
then he went, but then he got an exclusive deal with DC, like as the second issue of Vision came out.
Yeah.
And he was allowed to finish that. And it feels like he's always trying to do that. Like, I'm going to re-envision or put my mark on these characters in such a way so that, I mean, we all joke around it. It's his therapist, his instead of seeing a shrink, we're buying his books. I think Doc has said that a few different way, but and I agree.
Therapy.
I mean, it feels that way. And the thing is like he's always, I'm going to do this like really super gut wrenching thing to Adam Strange. Well, maybe if it was only Adam Strange that you did that to instead of the Vision and instead of Mr. Miracle and the shit you're doing in Human Target, it wouldn't feel Batman. So obvious all the time. But now you're going to do a one-day Riddler and even compare it to a book that Alan Moore himself came out and said he doesn't really like. So why I like the idea that he's trying to become something, or he knows there's a mark that he should try and obtain, but you don't always have to say that I'm going to do the next Killing Joke or something that is Killing Joke. You could just be like, this is the level of creator I want to like aspire to be, and I don't think he does.
Definitely. I feel the same way about that one as well. It's just kind of a weird book, honestly, and it's just like, stop trying to make him something that he's really not. If you want to reinvent something, take a character, a villain from Batman that we don't really see at all, hardly. You could do something like that. That's fine. But when you're taking,
you kind of did that with Kite Man, I guess.
Yeah, with Kite Man.
We discussed that.
Yeah, you were gone. We talked about that one.
Congratulations. He managed to make Kite Man not completely laughable. That's it. There is his. There is a joke. Yes, but it was still okay. Great, you did your.
You did Kite Man.
But by comparison, that's your Killing Joke for Kite Man. Good job. Yeah. Now,
but I do need to apologize to Trey Michael. He went out there and read this book, because we were going to talk about the Jados today. My bad.
It was.
I never think about the the second and third order effects of these videos.
I think the most weirdest thing was the him wanting to get spanked and seemed like molested by his father. I don't care what none of y'all say. That's exactly what it came off like. I was just like, all right, this is weird. Like usually he does the mommy crap stuff, but it looked like he's doing his daddy thing. It looks like his dad mentally, physically, and abused him too, and now he can't get over the fact that his dad's dead because he wants to please his dad, so he even punished himself like his dad used to. And I'm like, this is weird. And can we stop panels? Can we stop with the panels too? That's another thing that was aggravating about the book too.
Yeah, the 9 grid and 12 grid. Yeah, he's become reliant on that. He's got
Mitch Gerard's.
Mitch Gerard's. Yeah, I mean, Tom King has talent. That's what's bad, and he just like decides to
But
shit
does
all
he?
over it. Like,
Yeah.
and then he'll take things that are tropes or effects for writing that you should do like once every like 6 books or so. But he just does it multiple times each issue. So he leans too heavily into certain styles. But I don't know. It's like with him, he went from starting off as like his first couple of books that came out, you would look at his stuff and be like, hey, this is good. Like, and you can tell this guy's been through some things in life. And now you're like, dude, you're fucked up. Like, you need to go see a therapist, get some help, like counseling. Like, I don't want my kids around you.
His comics are nothing but journaling. When you go to therapy and you have a lot of and your therapist recommends journaling, that's what he did, and then he slapped superheroes on it. That's it.
It has
Go back
that
to
was a
the
very
therapy.
pleasant experience. I'll tell you that.
I think the only thing that everybody loves talking about that he does well was the Superman up and away story. I guess I haven't read the story, and that Supergirl story. I heard people saying that one was good, but the first issue when I read it, I said nope, I'm out.
Well, that Supergirl story is just True Grit, but with Supergirl instead of Rooster Cogburn. You know what I mean? It was like it was like scene for scene from that. Like he clearly was. I wouldn't even use the word inspired by it, but it makes sense because that's a great novel.
It didn't feel like Supergirl though to me. Like I mean, I could watch the
Rooster
movie
Cogburn is
and read the novel, but I don't need Supergirl.
Notorious drunken outlaw that's like beating people and stuff.
And then when she blew up that pimple,
Yeah.
so gross.
Yeah. We do need to give a shout out to AL. She says, "Good news! I'll be married 24 years this Monday. LOL. So proof that love does conquer all."
Hey,
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
We're coming up on 7 years, my wife and I, next month. So we're pretty excited about that too. But
I'm
24,
only on
that
4.
is some real commitment there, Fatal J.
Yeah, because I'm only at 4.
Exactly. Are we the only married guys on the panel? I think we are.
I think so.
I thought Doc was married.
I was at 13. Doc is married.
No,
I think he just like what got him a girlfriend now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then he had some internet issues.
God, I disconnected the fucking router.
As soon as we said that, the bots came in.
Yeah, and
What are
now
you
the
saying,
porn
Josh?
bot's
You did
back.
13 years?
Oh yeah, no, I was gonna say I was in a relationship for 13 years, and then I flushed that down the toilet. So
Yeah.
So
Sounds
was your
like
fault?
you had
It
to
was
do
your
what you
fault?
had to do on that one. Nah,
No.
Josh was not at fault. He's a puppy
I-
dog. He tried to make it work.
He was like, I can't give you what you want.
we have a
I'm glad you can laugh about this now, Josh, because you
Oh,
were
no, I
in a
can't.
good headspace a couple years ago.
Yeah, no, I was in a bad spot a couple years ago, but yeah, no, I'm good now. I can laugh
remember
about
that.
it now.
I was like, I don't know if what I could say to this guy. He's in a bad mood. Nicholas Russ says Tom King tries too hard. He forces everything. That's the problem, I think, Josh, is he doesn't think about the characters and build a story around them. He thinks about his story, and then he breaks the characters around his story.
Yeah.
And it's, the first few times it's refreshing. Like, oh, I've never seen anything like this. And then once you catch on to it, you're like, not again.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's what I'm saying. He's pretty much a one-trick pony with his writing, and he keeps doing the same thing. And it's just like with each book that comes out, it's almost like he gets less praise, and his mindset is like, "Oh, I've got to Tom King harder," and it's like, no,
you don't.
You turn, man, you turn.
And he needs a good editor, like he had at the beginning of Batman. That ring to in.
Yeah, Doyle is obviously at IDW now.
Yeah, he got so full of himself that the moment he heard no, he had his editor fired. So
which is kind of a bullshit story. Like there was an artist that was on vacation with his wife, and they're like, he was like, I want him to do the cover. They're like, he's on vacation.
Yeah,
we can't do that. We'll find you another artist. And he went around the guy's back and got him fired.
Look, I hope that the payback is that someday Tom King is doing or is on vacation, and then DC's like, no, you need to fucking get this in or you're fired.
I just hope he just gets fired.
Well, that too.
I mean,
he's got
it doesn't need to be. It doesn't need to be complicated. Just fire him.
I mean, he should have got fired instead of the editor. Like, how you going to tell somebody? How you going to tell your
that
editor?
Batman book was selling really, really well at the time. Like, And Tom King, I think, was thought of as like somebody that was really on the rise and was going to be an enormous name for the next decade.
Not only that, he writes the type of stories that are boring and perfect for DC movies. You know,
that is true.
They're definitely better for HBO Max series. They cost almost nothing to film.
Could you imagine some Zack Snyder music in the background? You know,
just I could see Zack Snyder doing the word
just
jokes and riddles. You'd love it.
Yeah, it's just no. I mean, it's a lot of his stuff is just boring, fucking talking head bullshit.
Kenneth Dowling says, "I see you're staying on longer. If you're interested in Riddler, Paul Dano is writing a Riddler comic soon. Loved his performance in the Batman. I think it's Riddler Year 1, correct, Josh?"
Yep.
I pass
that one.
Honestly, I will too.
I'm curious. I've never read anything Paul Dano's written, but he seems to have a good like creative approach. So I'm down to check it out.
I'm sorry.
Sounds like carpet bagging to me.
I was just like, what is that? This guy is not the Riddler, but
I was not the Riddler on the Batman. I pass.
Like, okay, sure. And everybody was trying to. He's so
Earth One
accurate.
Riddler.
I remember everybody used to telling me how amazing he was and how comic book accurate he is to the Riddler. I'm like, what movie was y'all watching? And what Riddler book was you reading?
I think it's like Batman year or Earth Zero.
Earth One.
All right, so
I legitimately thought that you guys were really confused and he just did a typo on Paul Dini. And I'm like,
no, Paul Dano.
Yeah, I have no idea who the fuck Paul Dano is. I'm sitting there going, is that Bizarro World Paul Dini?
No, he's the actor that played Riddler in this last Batman film, but he's done a lot of really good projects. Listening to him talk about characters and stuff, and the take on Riddler here, that's not Paul Dano's decision for that movie. Like they set Riddler up to be that way, and he delivered.
In a gimp suit.
Yeah.
I mean, he was basically the Zodiac Killer. That's what it was. They should just said Batman versus Zodiac Killer, and that's fine. That would have been fine. But don't call him the Riddler because I mean, and he's wearing a gimp trash bag suit. Again, who is that? That's not the Riddler.
And all they did at the
hold
end was
on.
into the Joker from the Joker.
Kenneth says, "Before I'm out, I want to give you a hero fight. Let's settle this once and for all. Fight of the Shadow Warriors. Who wins, Doc? Batman versus Snake Eyes."
Snake Eyes.
Snake Eyes.
I can't let my man down. I'm saying Batman.
Snake Eyes because he will start using machine guns in the middle of his fight. And he just whips them out of fucking nowhere. He has no problem with killing.
I feel like he'll sneak up on Batman and just be like, "Oop, I stabbed you."
Probably a better trained fighter. He's one of the few out there,
Nobody
right?
sneaks up on Batman.
I mean, a blind guy who can't. I mean, a mute person who literally like fights in the dark.
He's not mute though. He basically just took a vow of silence.
Well, it depends on which comic book. I saw
thought
the one
he
where
got all messed up in the face.
He got
all messed up. Yeah, in the comic book, he got all messed up where he couldn't even talk at all.
Yeah, his face was all scarred up, but he still had a mouth. He still had a tongue. He still had lips.
I read one where he had his he couldn't speak anymore.
He couldn't speak at all.
Larry Hama, I think.
I was reading. He couldn't speak at all.
Was that later?
Like I saw his.
I thought it was like when you the secret origin of Snake
that
Eyes
one.
with the girl's picture on the.
And it turns out he and Cobra Commander are like rolling people all over America, stealing their money and stuff. It's great.
Yeah. I mean, because
you saw his thoughts. You saw his thoughts, but you can never hear him. I think in recent GI Joe books they did fix his face and fix his vocal cords where he can talk again. But
I thought he was dead.
Yeah, I
Did
thought
y'all
so.
see
There's
the
like a
killed him
girl
off for
now.
a female version for a while?
Yeah, they did.
The
Female Latino version.
Yeah.
Did y'all see the
And then they
Snake
had to bring
Eyes
him back.
movie?
Oh, you mean the Storm Shadow movie where he dresses up like Snake Eyes?
Doc,
Yeah,
that was
that.
the worst. That was one of the worst movies I ever witnessed in my life.
Again, it was a great
How do you screw that up?
It was a great Storm Shadow movie.
It should have been called Storm Shadow.
Yeah. and then the sequel, he'll kill the guy that played the fake Storm Shadow in this and become Storm Shadow, and then we'll actually get Snake Eyes.
Doc, he put the
wait,
Snake Eyes mask, and I kid you not, he put the Snake Eyes mask on at the very end of the movie, like right before the credits came on.
This is almost as bad as when they finally almost gave Wolverine the Wolverine costume at the end of The Wolverine.
Yeah.
Just
I was
to
so
probably
excited.
do the
I was-
sequel called Logan, where he doesn't wear even anything approaching a costume.
Logan's a great movie, though. It made me
Oh, that's a
cry.
classic. Yeah.
I was
It's a-
excited about that X-Men suit though. I was like, oh snap! The next time we see Wolverine in the X-Men movie, he's gonna be wearing a suit, and then it never happened. I said, oh,
Logan was
I
so
think
good.
that
though, it didn't
Wolverine
need a
movie would have been
Wolverine.
pretty good if it wasn't for Silver Samurai. They really messed that up.
yeah.
Or
Yeah.
if Darren
Wolverine's in
Aronofsky
Japan.
actually made it like he was supposed to.
But
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. The woman who played Mariko, she can get it. I don't care.
Oh, she was good.
He was gorgeous.
She's a good
I was like, I don't blame him from leaving everything for her. I don't blame you, man.
All right, Kenneth, it sounds like the majority are going with Snake Eyes over Batman. I have to agree with that one, but it would be an epic fight. And you can read it actually in the Batman Fortnite, I think issue number 3. Snake
Yeah.
Eyes and Batman might fight for about 10 pages in that one.
I pass.
Well, it's pretty cool. It's nice
It
to see.
was- it was-
That was
dope.
yeah, because
It
that
dope
was
book.
Christos Gage, right? That wrote that.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a solid
and those-
writer.
Those covers were pretty solid too.
Yeah, that was the best issue that they did. So we're gonna have to wrap this up. It sounds like Doc has to go on a. Are you going to Bed Bath and Beyond, or are you going to Home Depot, Doc?
Actually, I think I'm going to a Greek food festival.
Oh, nice.
Well, the same thing,
Nice.
right?
Not
Any-
really.
any
Live
comic book-
music.
Any comic books you recommended this week, Doc?
You know what? I'm recommending you save your fucking money this week. Actually, you know what? No, there was
Hulk finally came out.
yeah, Hulk finally came out. The
Oh,
whole
really? He's gay now?
the whole well, yeah.
Oh,
But the whole Banner of War thing, that's just kind of fizzled back.
Well, yeah.
X-Force came out and it was
Martin
terrible.
hates that comic book. He said that we needed to tear it apart, but I was like, we're already talking about X-Men and Death and Mutants.
It's terrible, but it is somehow a tie-in to Judgment Day, yet had absolutely no references, nothing in there connected to it at all.
That makes
Funny.
sense. It's Marvel Comics.
So
So you're not recommending any comic books this week, Doc?
you know what?
Tough week.
Miss Meow
It was
number
tough.
3.
Oh,
Miss
It was a very tough
Miss
week.
Meow number 3.
Did you get that Frank Miller ash can by any chance?
No,
That
I
thing
did
is
not.
selling for like $30 on the internet on like eBay, even though it was only like a $2 comic.
It was actually sent to the stores free. I think it was depending on how much they ordered, maybe of like something else. I don't know how they decided how they were sending it out, but
People are flipping it.
they're flipping it. Well, I
Yep.
reordered some, so I don't think it's really a
But-
thing that people should be spending a lot of
but-
money on.
By the way, somebody in the chat, Rolling Dodge, I don't know how Marvel didn't figure this out. They should have Axe Judgment Spray. It should have been their tie-in partnership with Axe Body Spray,
Yes.
and
that was
had
a good
one called Judgment.
And they had a special fragrance to come out while the event's happening.
Yes, exactly. Have their own fragrance that smells like a Comic
Wolverine
Con,
musk.
which is
Or something.
no, it just smells like BO from a Comic Con.
That would be gross. This is what I like to hear, Doc, before you head out. Keda says, Wes, you're going to love this shit. Doc, I strongly disagree. He says you're wrong. Batman wins. Anything Snake Eyes can do, Batman can do better. Batman uses stealth all the time, and Riddler has been lame to me. The Batman made him cool. Peace. He
Batman,
says you're full of shit.
oh.
Batman needs fucking prep time. He has no idea what Snake Eyes is going to pull.
He's saying he's not Taskmaster. He can't just watch a couple of steps and know what you're going to do.
No, he's not. They're on par, if not better, or Snake Eyes is on par with Batman, fighting wise, if not better. He also uses fucking swords, machine guns, grenades, and claymores. Yeah, he's gonna win.
All right, there, kid is dialing. Doc Snake not taking that lightly. He says he was right. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, sir, and we'll talk offline about the House of Dragon and see what's going on with that. All right, Doc. So you had no recommendations.
No, I
Fatal J.
said Miss Meow.
Oh, Miss Meow, number 3. Absolutely.
Yep.
What the
From
fuck
Merc
is
Publishing.
Miss Meow?
It's from Merc Publishing.
It's from Merc Publishing.
Oh, Oh,
Actually,
my
Aaron
recommend-
Sparrow is, I think, the big editor on that one now.
I believe
Oh, shout out to Aaron Sparrow. It's sus that I'm hearing that Young Justice might be canceled.
Who cares? They wasted our time. Good.
Man, what? This stuff was freaking incredible. What are you talking about?
No, season 3, season 4, and we still ain't got nowhere. They still didn't defeat the light. They still didn't take on Darkseid. You wasted our time. Good. Bye.
Nah, man.
Gabriel Hernandez is recommending Harley Quinn 20 if you ignore all the scenes with Harley Quinn.
Well, darn.
Dang.
Sounds like a comic book worth reading. All right, Trey Michael, what are you recommending? You recommending this Riddler One Bad Day comic book?
No, don't read it. Don't read it. No, I mean, if you're curious, sure, but don't read it. No. I would say Venom Lethal Protector. I was reading that. Martian Manhunter. I've been on a Martian Manhunter binge. I've been reading Martian Manhunter because I feel like he's underrated. And I think, if DC put a little bit more time and effort, he can definitely be a good A-lister story, or at least a B-lister kind of solo character run. But, that's if DC want to put time and effort into him. For a manga I was reading was Spy X Family. And I was reading that Iron Cat book. I don't know why. That was something. That was weird. And
bye, Doc.
Later, everybody.
Later.
Bye, Doc. And make sure to watch your.
He's gone.
Oh, he's gone. He's gone. What was the other one I was reading? And of course I was reading the Gambit one too, and I've been going back and doing a Gambit solo run as well. So go back and read classic Gambit. And I recently read the recent Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man book that came out. I'm just like, oh, Peter can't catch a break.
Definitely not.
That's what you're supposed to think.
Yeah.
So Trey, if people are wanting to check out your channel, is there anything specifically out right now that you say is the best that you got, or anything coming up within the next week that they should be looking out for?
For right now, what I released a video where I talked about the Spider-Man pride flag versus me tracing. Apparently me criticizing it means that I trace when I draw. So that was an interesting conversation to have. I made a video about that. And the next thing I'm gonna talk about is probably a review on the Gambit book that I was talking about in Martian Manhunter. That should definitely be out by next week. Other than that, that was the recent thing. Oh, and I talked about the She-Hulk stuff, but not the show itself. I haven't reviewed the show, but I was just talking about like all of the surrounding things, especially finding out that the writers didn't really know anything about She-Hulk. It's kind of like, yeah, we can tell by watching this show. But those are my 2 recent videos.
I'm glad you could finally make it. I've been meaning to reach out for a while now. Glad you made it on the show. We'll definitely have you back. There's a link in the video description if you want to check out Trey Michael's channel and support him. Fatal J, what is going on in the Fatal J quarter? Do you have any big videos out right now that are coming up the next week?
I have a video that came out, the She-Hulk review. Guys, make sure to watch that video because at the beginning of the video, I took a big giant crap on the toilet. You don't understand, man. I do a lot of stuff that humiliate myself just to entertain you guys. So
it's not just here; it's on his own channel.
Yeah,
and the least that you could do is watch the video and get me to at least 1,000 views. That's all I ask for. I don't ask for much. I just ask for you to watch, and it's totally free. So make sure my recent video that's up right now. Make sure after this stream, all you guys that's in here right now, make sure to watch that. I humiliated myself and embarrassed my life away, and probably going to have to talk to future generations on why I did this to myself. So you guys make sure to watch that video.
There's a link in the video description. Are you recommending any comic books this week? Uh-oh, he froze. While we're waiting for Fatal J to come back, Eric O'Sullivan has subscribed to Trey Michael's channel, and you should.
Hey, I appreciate that, Eric. Thank you.
I know you got a couple of subscribers at least that they've said in the chats that I've caught.
I appreciate
it.
I
do want to picture this new media nerd culture vlog. You're going to be very happy with tomorrow's best of the week video. Almost everything that you've talked about and recommended, maybe not everything, but a lot of it, we are going to be talking about and recommending tomorrow on the best of the week video. And it looks like Fatal J is not coming back. You've been having some really exciting announcements lately. You've had some really big interviews. Anything people should be looking out for?
Yeah, join my Fantastic Comics YouTube channel. I want to get to 1,000 subscribers. And yeah, just, it's a live show. Sometimes I clip it, but I thought the last episode was a very well-crafted interview with a guy who collects comics. He's his name is James, but he goes by the King of the Golden State. And he has viewers, you can check him out, but Fantastic Comics is where it's at. And I got a Joe Casey interview. It's still up. I highly recommend it. We get into some things that he might not talk about in a normal show. And it's kind of deep. It's all about writing, working in comics. And it takes some, we go off on some avenues that you don't usually hear. But I want to let everybody know that Wes's interview with Mark Miller was awesome.
Yep.
Also,
I love that interview.
Thank you.
I was thinking, like, as I'm listening, I'm like, oh my God, sometimes I actually need the Train Spotting subtitling going on with him. He's
got
pretty...
a thick Scottish accent, definitely.
Yeah. But yeah, Fantastic Comics. I have some suggestions. Do a Power Bomb by AEW's biggest fan, Daniel Warren Johnson, writing and drawing it. If you got kids, maybe check out Ms. Marvel. She's running through the Marvel universe with different characters weekly. And if you like spec books, I would recommend the swimsuit cover of Nightwing 95 this week.
Well, that's for Josh then. There you go.
It was you know how Nightwing gets the ogling on the comic covers. Well, it's a very well made comic cover.
All I'm asking for is
like
a Starfire cover, please.
Ooh, a Starfire. What book would she be in though? The next week on next week's books, there's going to be that Art Germ Supergirl on Action cover to check out. And Harley Quinn does a Killing Joke cover also. So
okay.
That's
Very
what I
nice.
would recommend for you specs out there.
Josh, before we get to your recommendations, the goddamn Batman wants you to know Jeremy Adams wants to write Tim Drake after Fitzmartin. Let's go. Hopefully her book gets canceled early.
Oh, and he can fix everything, please.
Like,
I think we would all like that.
We were
from
robbed.
his lips to God's ears, please make it happen.
Because we were robbed, because we were supposed to get a Red Robin spoiler book about their relationship and them saving the day together. But no, we got whatever Fitzmartin gave us, which I didn't ask for.
I mean, I don't even want that Red Robin because that would have spun out of kind of what Bendis had set up. But yeah, please, anything is better than what Fitzmartin does. She's awful.
Oh,
Stuff's
definitely.
pretty rough. Do you have any recommendations?
I would say Barbaric Axe to Grind is probably my one like super pick for the week. Like, definitely go get it. Michael Marici is super talented, and DC stupid for not snagging him up when they had the chance to.
He wrote an amazing Nightwing like one shot. I think he did a couple of them, but the one with Damian Wayne and like
he did a couple of one shots for a couple of different books.
Original
all
Speedy.
of them were all of them were like elevated compared to the ongoing run, so it was nice. Other than that, Robin and Batman by Jeff Lemire and Dustin Nguyen was collected. So if you didn't pick that up and read it, it's really good. Go get it. Great story, great art.
Really
definitely worth your time and money. Huh?
There's some really good moments when he finally meets like the Teen Titans for the first time and stuff.
Yep, absolutely.
Really good
Oh
stuff.
yeah, that book. I just remembered what it was. I was like, wait, Damien? No, it's the other one. This other Robin.
Gabe Hernandez, stop avoiding Barbaric. I'm telling you, it's absolutely hilarious. If you like Conan the Barbarian, you like He-Man, and you like funny comic books with lots of bloody action in it, Barbaric is the comic book for you, sir. That's
Good
all I
art
can
too.
say.
Real good
Art
art.
by
Good
Nathan
coloring.
Gooden is fantastic.
If you can get the black and white ones, I think those are even better of the first series. But yeah, Barbaric was a surprise for me. I enjoyed it. A revelation.
Yes.
It was good.
The one shot, not as much as the first series and this next one that's kicked off. Yeah. Roddy Boy Comics. Wes, are you having a 3-hour show from now on? Interesting enough, when we first started the show, it was 3.5 hours, and I cut it down to 2 hours, and we've been creeping up to 3. I would like to keep it about 2.5 hours, but there's so much good interaction. We were having so many good conversations, and I've already recorded my best of the week video with Drew yesterday that we had some extra time this week.
We're hard to wrangle.
Oh yeah, and if you guys like that, what's that stuff? Webtoons. I guess you guys should read the Red Hood and the Outlaws. It is closer to what we used to have before DC destroyed it, so you definitely should read that. You know, but that was really it, pretty much. Oh, and by the way, on my channel, if you guys know, I am a busy kind of person, so I'm recording while I am doing errands for my family. So just to know that reviews are in the car. So when I'm reviewing comics or anything, I am driving too, because I don't have as much free time as I would like to sit down and do what you guys do. Like when you guys sit up there and have a conversation and make videos, I'm like, I have a car, I have errands, and I have a family I have to do stuff. So bam, here I go. So
hey, that's how Perch does all
driving,
his videos.
So if you guys hear me driving and stuff like that, there are times where I'm recording and the car pulls out and I'll say some stuff and people enjoy it because they feel like I'm being authentic, because I used to try to edit that stuff out, but they were like, no, we like it because it feels realistic. And I'm like, okay, well, if you guys like it, I'll keep doing it.
I could never record videos in the car because of my road rage. So I mean, actually, that might make me a freaking star. Maybe I should.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
hey, people
Josh
enjoy
having
like
Tourette's.
Yeah, pretty much.
I was talking about the Superman book, and my road rage was like, and I'm angry about the Superman book that I'm reviewing, but then the road rage was happening, and everybody was just like laughing because they were like, oh my God, the part where you start ranting about Superman and upset at the traffic at the same time. They were like, it was hilarious. And I wasn't trying to do it, but it all happened all at once, and I'm like, fuck, this damn Superman book is stupid, and this damn stupid car got in front of me. So it's kind of fun, you know. I try to have fun and try to talk to everybody like, you know, we're having a personal conversation.
That's the way to do it. You want to have a nice, good connection with the viewers. Josh, did you have any more recommendations before we wrap this bad boy up?
No, I was just going to say, if you haven't watched She-Hulk and you watch She-Hulk, there's plenty to complain about. But if you're one of the people going, oh, she's better than Hulk, I don't think you watched the episode. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, my goodness, Josh.
No, I mean,
more on the fans.
She tries to be like, I'm better than you. And every time she does, he proves her wrong. So if that's your argument for why the show's bad, you didn't watch the show and you're revealing yourself.
You know, it's the marketing. It's the marketing that did this disservice to the character. But I will say, I did not like that scene of her talking down to him, because I'm like, Jen, you know what your cousin went through? Like, how dare you compare that? That was
all
like,
right,
really,
fellas, we've been going for 3 hours. We went a little bit long today, and I do have to wrap it up. I do want to say thank you very much to the entire panel, for everyone for joining us. There will be a best of the week video tomorrow with all of my recommendations, along with Drew from Comics Elite. We will see you next weekend right here on Thinking Critical for the Comics Aficionados.